We are about to play ball. First pitch, just a couple of seconds as the Men's NCAA College World Series is presented by Capital One. The Ole Miss Rebels with Tim Elko, the biggest story perhaps in college baseball and certainly in his town, 40-23 against Oklahoma, a team that will run. They cause chaos on the base paths. This should be a good one. They won it in 51 and 94, and Ole Miss has never been in the finals. Kyle Peterson, Chris Burke, Chris Budden down on the field. I'm Carl Ravitch. Let's talk about a superstar that people can get excited about when you're watching Oklahoma.
Yeah, if you're looking for the biggest prospect in this event, folks, we have him. Peyton Graham, the shortstop for Oklahoma, maybe as high as any ceiling in college baseball, and he has put on a show for us here in Omaha. He has reached base 10 of his 15 plate appearances, hitting over 500. A special athlete who has led the Sooners to this point.
Get the hands full on the other side, and it's because of these three guys. Had a chance to leave last year, did not. All three could have signed, but came back for this moment. Between Justin Bench, Kevin Graham, Tim Elko, combined 526 games wearing that uniform, but they came back for this opportunity. Now just 2 wins away from the first national championship in Ole Miss baseball history.
We started with 8 teams here. We're down to our final 2, the powerhouse programs, the Southern Cals, the Arizona States, the LSUs. They're not here, but out of the SEC. Mike Bianco's got his group here. Over 2 decades, he's been the head man. As we take a look at our batting order, is presented by Capital One. And Kyle just touched on Bench and Elko, Graham, Gonzalez, maybe the highest ceiling prospect on their team. Calvin Harris down the bottom has been unbelievable.
He has. Leads his team in hitting, yet moved down to the 9-hole because of the lefty Jake Bennett on the mound. But he has been hot, a very dangerous guy sitting there in the bottom of the batting order.
Pretty dangerous guy standing 60 feet away, too. The left-hander Jake Bennett's been the ace pretty much all year for this Oklahoma team. It's a fastball you could see get into the low to mid-90s. An outstanding changeup, and I think one of the keys today against this Ole Miss lineup that is going to have 4 left-handers in there. How does he use the changeup and the slider against the lefties? Throws it significantly more to righties than lefties in the past, but it is his best off-speed offering.
A lot of Ole Miss fans in the house. And a lot of Oklahoma folks made a trek. They said, come on, kids, get in the car. We're taking that ride. We're going to go see our team play for a natty, a national championship. Best 2 out of 3. Bennett has been outstanding on the mound. He'll give you length, at least 6 innings. Ole Miss had to use their ace, Dylan DeLucia, to get to this game. Justin Bench steps in as we're set for the first pitch. And that's a little ball high. Justin Bench leads things off. Gonzalez, the shortstop. Elko, the first baseman. Behind Bennett, Wallace Clark's your third baseman. Peyton Graham, who we talked about, at short. Jackson Nicholas at second. Blake Robertson at first base. Kendall Pettis in left. Treadway in center. John Sparkerman is in right. Swing and a miss. He's been the straw that stirs it. 12 runs in the postseason, 10 hits, leads the Rebels. Other thing that these 2 teams have in common, because they were not national seeds, they had to go on the road for both the regionals and super regionals. So they have won all their postseason games to get here away from home. One-two, left center field. Pettis, he calls it, and he runs it down. We've had some issues with left fielders and the sun, but a ball like that a little easier to field.
Yeah, moving to your left, but I do think it's important to track the communication. This place is packed, and it is going to be very loud. And you see Treadway give way to Pettis right there. Very important that the outfielders know how they're going to communicate, because it's going to be really hard to hear each other with as loud as this stadium will be.
Well, you got some real estate to cover out there, specifically right center to left center. In between the gaps, you got a long way to go.
Here's Jacob Gonzalez, the shortstop. Swings at the first one, pops it up sky high. Catcher Crooks is going, and now the first baseman comes in, and it's Blake Robertson who takes it. And Crooks didn't get a great read on that, and it kept drifting on him, but Robertson was there.
That's a little more comfortable than the play we saw Blake Robertson make a few days ago to start the game, when he went head over heels into the opposing dugout. This time, at least, he can keep his feet on the ground. 2 quick outs, wind blowing out. We see one ball go out to center field so far in this College World Series. The way that wind is going right now, it's got a chance to carry. It's probably one of the most favorable offensive nights that we've seen.
And here's a guy that can certainly put it over that wall. Tim Elko, the first baseman, back-to-back regional most valuable player honors, 45 career home runs, 23 of those this season. We've seen over the course of Elko's career, if you're going to get him, that's the pitch to get him to swing at it and miss.
Yeah, definitely something soft. Right now, anything spinning that's changing planes is going to be very difficult. You're dealing with 3 different shadows. It goes from dark to light to dark out there right now from where Bennett's standing. Tough for the hitters.
Second baseman Nicholas in a shift. That one's down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here you see the 3 infielders on the left side. Arkansas really employed that. They were one of the teams here this week. Their defense on the infield was as good as any we've seen in recent memory. With an 85-mile-an-hour changeup to get ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
3 pitches to Elko right here. Hadn't thrown him a fastball yet. 2 sliders to start, then comes back with a changeup. You could see the spin on that changeup from home plate on that good look from back behind home plate. That is the one that Bennett would prefer to throw. But he's got off-speed pitches that go in towards the right-hander and away from the right-hander.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Not getting a lot of glove side run with that slider just yet. The changeup's the pitch. 161 opponents hitting against that changeup. My guess is he's going back to that here after trying the breaking ball down and in.
Not only are they not hitting it, they haven't hit any for a homer. And this one is where the shifted player would have generally been. Elko is aboard with a single. Nicholas playing on the other side of the bag didn't have a chance to get it.
He did. He went back to the changeup, and Elko just put a good swing on it. You can see that split change grip right there. 86 miles an hour moving away from Elko. Stays on it, drives it back up the middle. Rebs have their first hit of the game with 2 outs here in the first. You're moving slow.
Certainly a concerned look right there from their head coach. Elko tore his ACL. Last year was the most famous torn ACL in college because he came back and played on it and hit home runs on a torn ACL. Then he had it surgically repaired, and now he's obviously back and doing significant damage through the course of this season. His buddy Kevin Graham, the left fielder, bats cleanup. During batting practice, he was riding the ball deep into right field. And that one gets away from the catcher. Elko, who just appears to be injured, appears to be healthy. He's at second base.
I like it. I like it. The old deke. Act like you're nursing something. Let's see what happens here.
That was early.
Something kind of grabbed him. Something grabbed him. He milked it, and off he goes.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All part of the plan.
Running is not part of the Rebels' plan. Generally, it's not something they do very often. For Oklahoma, it's something that they do as much as anybody in the country, with 140+ steals this season. So a chance now for Ole Miss to get on the board first. And that one also got away, but it is blocked close enough that Elko doesn't head to third base. Jimmy Crooks and Jake Bennett, the pitcher-catcher battery today. Crooks has been an offensive star for Oklahoma with a couple of 3-run bombs.
Talked about it this morning with Skip Johnson. You asked him the question, just approach against these left-handed hitters from Ole Miss, because Given a choice, most of the time, Bennett would rather go to that changeup, but he's going to have success with the slider. You feel like against these lefties.
2-1, that's into left field. Pettis is up with it. He'll have no play on Elko, and staying at first is Graham, who picks up RBI 51 on the season and gives Ole Miss a lead here in the first.
Well, that's how you get it started, right? One of your veteran hitters takes advantage of a fastball left over the middle of the plate. Kevin Graham can use the whole field with anybody in this game. A rocket right off the edge of Wallace Clark's glove. Tim Elko's gritting it out, and then did a little gritty in the dugout as the Rebels are off to a fast start.
First time that Oklahoma has trailed in this year's College World Series. And now Kemp Alderman. Runner goes. Hard time getting out of his glove, and they steal a base. Jimmy Crooks had a double clutch, didn't get a good grip on it, and Alderman steals his third base of the year.
No, that was Graham, and that's his first of the year. That could be a sign right there. And you saw when Elko was on first base, because Jake Bennett wasn't paying any attention. He was about a 1-7 to home plate. Graham gets on. The book says he's got one stolen base attempt the whole year. He isn't going anywhere. He didn't waste any time. He was off and running. I think it surprised everybody.
Alderman would not be a surprise. The one guy that Skip Graham seemed so impressed with was Alderman as a hitter. Another runner in scoring position. On the season, Kemp Alderman, 287, 14 doubles, 11 homers, 45 runs batted in.
He's made some loud contact here since he's been here. Kemp Alderman's hit 4 balls with an exit velo of 109 or higher.
Ahead 0-2 is Bennett. That one gets away to third base. Is Graham, and what do you make of this, Kyle? That's the third one that Crooks hasn't been able to keep close.
He's not really blocking it. He's trying to block it with his glove, and that unless it goes right the back of that glove right away, it's always going to go off to some extent. So it's a breaking ball that's going away, and well, no, he's going down the right spot. That would just hit the glove. It's just in a tough spot. Doesn't stick in the back of the glove. Gets far enough away. Graham straight steals second, advances to third.
Alderman hard hit on the ground, and that one ate up the shortstop, Peyton Graham. That had a whole bunch of top spin on it, an error from the shortstop. Pass ball, and just like that, it's Ole Miss 2, Oklahoma nothing.
Well, this is now Peyton Graham's third error of the season. This ball's smoked, right? We talked about Kemp Alderman and how many balls he's hit hard. A top spinning grounder. And once the shortstop starts backing up, you get a little concerned. The top spin of that grounder came up and bit him off the heel. And you got to give the Rebels a bunch of credit, right? Taking extra bases. Kevin Graham stole second base, moved up on a wild pitch, and because of that, they're able to score on an E6.
Hey man, it was 2 outs, nobody on, and Bennett got the first 2 outs with 5 pitches.
Yep. Peyton Shottenway is the second baseman. They will throw over to first base. First inning, game 1, best 2 of 3 College World Series finals. There's the note. The team that scores first in this World Series, 11-2. Pulled and hammered down the line and left. Looks like it's going foul, and it is.
So I think one thing to pay attention, and that time Bennett was quicker to home plate, is if you're coming into this game for Oklahoma, what is not first on your list of things to worry about is Ole Miss is going to run. Well, they ran right away. And now if you're Jake Bennett, you got to think about it a lot differently than you did coming into the game. A little bit quicker to home plate right there. Shot you just a little early, but if he squares that one up, it's 4-0.
2 wild pitches this inning. An error on the shortstop. That's away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ye has Managed 2 hits in his 15 at-bats, just a .133 average. That's a good pitch on the inside corner. Fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And that's where he can be really tough against right-handers. Interesting thing to watch with Bennett in this game. He's actually better against righties than lefties, right? Because the changeup is better than the slider. But to make that changeup elite, which it's been all year, is he's got to land that fastball underneath the hands of right-handed hitters. And that was a paint piece right there underneath the knob of Peyton Chatagnier.
Oh! Just missed.
I like doubling up, though. Doubling up right there based on the look that Chatagnier gave you, because he didn't necessarily want it in there. Skip Johnson, he's a master at reading feet on a hitter. And exactly what they're trying to do at the plate. He saw Chatagner's reaction to that fastball in. They tried to double up. That one just missed in.
Bennett had 3 wild pitches all year. He's got 2 this inning, and he'll go back to first base. I wonder if the Elko hit on the changeup did something to Bennett, because nobody's had any success against it. He went against the shift.
Well, I'd say after back-to-back fastballs in, the changeup's coming right here.
2-2, and that's foul.
It's a breaking ball. And so far we have not seen what I would call a good slider. We've seen 3 or 4 in the dirt.
Yep.
And then a couple that, they haven't kept fair, but have been very hittable. And, I think that was a pitch he was going to need in this ball game. Right now, he hasn't quite found it. That doesn't mean he won't as the game unfolds, but early it doesn't look like he has his best slider.
Because they went 3-0, they have a very well-rested pitching staff. This will be the 24th pitch of the first inning for Bennett. Got him to chase. That'll do it, but a couple of firsts and not once Oklahoma like. First time they have trailed in the World Series. The NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Now, Oklahoma 3-0 in the World Series. That means a lot of time off. Are we thinking about the rust versus rest
I think
discussion?
so. And not to mention, it feels like a heavy Ole Miss crowd here. So a few factors at play here early in this game.
Batting order presented by Capital One. Numbers for Treadaway on the bottom. A couple of guys with 17-game hit streaks.
Yeah, Peyton Graham, the shortstop in the 2-hole, and Tanner Treadaway, the center fielder in the cleanup spot. Both coming in here red hot. And then watch out for Jimmy Crooks in the 5-hole. The catcher has 2 3-run homers here in Omaha.
Be a little surprised. I don't know that we thought this was the name that we would hear for Ole Miss to start this game. Jack Doherty's been out there plenty this year, but only the 4th time that he has been out there in a starting role for Ole Miss. The good, 12 straight scoreless innings. He hadn't allowed a run since the end of April. Fastball relying. He's going to throw it on the glove side and fair him out. So especially against a right-handed, fairly heavy lineup, you're going to see that fastball glove side significantly. I think this one you just approach like a reliever. It doesn't matter that you're in a starter's role. Go all out to start. Think the way that he generally does as he comes in a reliever. If he gets you 9 to 12 outs, great. Then we'll figure it out. But I would expect Doherty to try to attack.
The last time we saw Ole Miss, we saw a starting pitcher, Dylan DeLucia, give him 9 innings. And as a result, obviously everybody got a chance to rest, but he put on a pitching clinic, which eliminated him obviously from game 1 and game 2, at least according to Mike Bianco today when we met with him. And if there's a game 3, we'll all wait and see what their decision is. It'll be John Spikerman, the right fielder, Peyton Graham, Blake Robertson. First pitch, he squares, and that is right down Broadway, strike 1. Garrett Woods at third base, Gonzalez at short, Chatagnier is at second base, and Tim Elko is at first. Kevin Graham, Justin Bench, Calvin Harris left to right in the outfield, and Hayden Dunhurst is going to have a lot on his plate with a team that bunts and steals and hits and runs, does a lot of things to create havoc and chaos on the bases.
By the numbers, Oklahoma is one of the most patient offenses in the entire country.
Yep.
They average over 4 pitches per plate appearance. That's 4th best in the nation. It makes it a lot harder to be patient at the plate if the guy standing 60 feet away is throwing strike 1, strike 2.
Doherty pitched the final 2 innings against Arkansas Wednesday. And he's been in the pen, then he was in the rotation, then in the pen. He gets the nod. He's ahead 1-2. Blew by you with a riding fastball, similar to what we saw from Dylan DeLucia the other day.
That's what he wants to do. What you saw in that at bat. It's going to be fastball heavy today if Doherty is going right, and especially when it gets late, he's going to grab the back end of that four-seamer and just throw it as hard as he can. Good spin. The efficiency coming towards home plate is there, which is why that ball stays on plane. Spikerman swings right underneath it. First out's a strikeout.
Inside to Peyton Graham. He's the shortstop. Unbelievable numbers across the board for the season, for the postseason. 34 steals, 20 homers. There you go. He fooled him, locked him up. Thought fastball was coming, and instead it was a slider in the upper third of the strike zone. Gets the call on the corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
How about doubling up on the slider this early too? Because this is going back to your dugout saying, hey, this is what I just saw. You come in thinking he's going to be fastball heavy, goes slider to flip a 1-0 count.
Through the eyes of Umcam and Chris Koski, the home plate umpire. Playable shallow right. Harris now backs up a few steps. The wind may have caught it a little bit, and there are 2 down.
Well, if we were worried about Doherty and his nerves, I mean, how about those first 2 sequences? Fastball up and in, slider on the edge, fastball up and in. You talk about a guy who looks like he's ready for the moment. Those first 2 ABs, awfully impressive.
You know what helps?
That's right. 2-spot helps in the first. That's right. No doubt.
Blake Robertson, the first baseman. And a first pitch strike.
I love watching really good defensive catchers catch that high breaking ball. Hayden Dunhurst waited as long as he possibly could to catch that, just to let it travel and at least visually make it look like it's lower in the zone.
Oklahoma's first inning, 2 wild pitches. They didn't have any in their first game here. 1 stolen base allowed. Didn't have any in their first 3 games here. Ooh, close pitch outside. Unearned runs. Didn't have any in their first 3 games here.
Maybe just off the edge.
Scissor kick after that. Feeling the fastball right now. Let's see if Robertson can catch up.
Sooners picked to finish 6th in the division. They're here in the final. Ole Miss, last team in. 2-2. Funny, on social media they posted a hype video, and at the end of it DeLucia was saying, 1 more start, 1 more start. On the ground to second. Cotnier makes the play, and a real good first inning for Jack Doherty. We are through 1. It's 2-zip Ole Miss.
Welcome back to Omaha. Ole Miss up 2-0 in the top of the second. There were some nervous Rebels back on Selection Monday. They watched the entire show having no idea whether their season was over or would they continue. They were the second to last region to be revealed. They erupted. It was exciting, but the thing for them wasn't this path to Omaha. The players told me, we were just excited. We got 1 more practice with our guys. That 1 more practice turned out to be a long run through Omaha.
Thank you, Chris. Much more from Chris over the course of the next 8 innings. Hayden Dunhurst, Garrett Wood, Calvin Harris. It's a very close-knit group, and Elko is the guy in the middle of all of it. Dunhurst, the catcher, behind 0-1. Sails outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. So at its depths, there were reports about Mike Bianco and Ole Miss. Maybe they'd part ways. They're also one of the few schools that have had such great sustained success. One of 4 programs. 3-1. Arkansas, East Carolina, Southern Miss, and Ole Miss with 4 straight 40-win seasons.
18 out of 21 years, Mike Bianco's club has gone to the postseason. They've played in 8 Super Regionals. That's a pretty good run, because before he got to Ole Miss, it was not that type of run.
Well, in a couple of the years that he missed, they were 14 and 16 in the league, right? And so it was not a comfortable feeling being 14 and 16 on Selection Monday. Especially after losing the first one in Hoover, and you got all that time to sit around and think about it. But he said one of the things he had to do when they got off the bus in Oxford after losing in Hoover was convince the team that they should keep practicing because they were in. He had to convince them that those practices mattered, that they had a season to keep preparing for.
3-2. Second strikeout for Ole Miss. Their 6th NCAA College World Series, first trip since 2014, and this is their first appearance in the finals. They had, what, 3 Super Regionals at home and didn't win any of them?
Yeah, and they've lost 5 Game 3s in Supers. Like, they've had some postseason scars. There's no doubt about it. But what's interesting is this team is highly regarded as they were to start the year. You know, when they fell on hard times, the pitching didn't quite come together. Kevin Graham gets hurt. Like, some guys are underperforming. He still kept them believing, we can't win the league, we're not going to host, but we could still win the whole thing if this thing comes together at the right time. And look where they are.
Ahead of Garrett Wood, now 0-2 as he's laid on a fastball at 94. Garrett Wood, the third baseman. What are you looking up over there? What are you seeing?
Diving into a little more skip.
Outside.
Well, I mean, look, you talk about Oklahoma. They had a losing record last year, right?
Yeah.
Haven't been in the postseason since 2018. So, you know, Ole Miss might feel like a long shot to be here this year based on the way things were in the middle of the season. Oklahoma hasn't had, I mean, they felt great about their team when COVID hit in 2020.
They loved the 2020
Yeah, they loved the 2020 team. But that being said, that, you know, the fact that Skip hadn't taken them to Omaha, it's pretty remarkable what they've done this year as well.
They're 4-5 in the Big 12 at one point. In the last 5 regular season series, went on to win the Big 12 tournament. Mr. Bennett's feeling pretty good right now. That's 3 in a row for Jake Bennett. Struck out Chatnier to end the first and got Dunhurst on a fastball to start the second. Gets in a plus count against Garrett Wood.
And Wood probably going back, if you have your iPad there, if you're a major leaguer, you run back and just check to see where that pitch was. He's been great with his eye. He had 9 walks coming in the postseason, which was the most in the nation. But he's gone. There's 2 down. And Calvin Harris. Strike call 1. 340 on the season since the start of the postseason, though. 423 batting average.
Pretty nice response here from Jake Bennett. He has looked like he has settled in and seems to be really doing a nice job of getting that fastball to the glove side.
Jam shot, slow roller. Second baseman's going to get it. Nicholas. Nope, low throw, and Robertson couldn't handle it. With hustle from Harris down the line to put pressure on Nicholas. For a second, it looked like Graham may try to cut in front of him as a shortstop to grab.
It's a fastball that just eats Harris up, and Nicholas was playing a little deep, had to charge hard. The throw across the body comes up a little short. Just catches Robertson in the heel. Another 2-out base runner for the Rebels. This is how it started in the first.
Give him a single, no error on the play. And back to the top for Justin Bench, who popped out to left to start this game off. There are no seats available in the building tonight. There's a decidedly light blue color dominating the seats. So the highest attendance at a College World Series game since we moved here was 27,127.
So this is fascinating. Ole Miss 33 bags as we take a look at this incredible crowd here. 33 bags on the season, 2 the whole postseason. But Kevin Graham swipes that bag. And now they have Jake Bennett's attention. I mean, he is holding, he's picking. You could tell that they are worried about it.
Look out, another one gets past the catcher, and down to second goes Calvin Harris. And is that an example of exactly what you were just talking about?
That was a quick one, right? So he had held a bunch, he had held long the pitch before. That one he came set and fired. And I think anytime you can get the pitcher's sole focus off of the hitter, you got a chance to see some mistakes. That was a big miss there.
The impact of the running game is not just stolen bases. Yeah. The impact of the running game is, can you speed up the entirety of the defense, both on the mound and everybody else, to move at a pace that they don't want to. You wouldn't think that Ole Miss would do that. They have already.
3 wild pitches. Bench 2-0. And that's into right field. Around third, Harris. He's going to score, and the wild pitch hurts Oklahoma again. Bench with an RBI. 3-0 Rebels.
Wow. And another 2-out base runner costs the Sooners, and this is what it looks like to inside out of baseball. Fastball trying to get under the hands of Justin Bench, and he just contracts the arms, gets the sweet spot inside the baseball and shoots it in the 4-hole. Just a beautiful kind of Derek Jeter piece of hitting there to drive in another run for the Rebels.
Think about the hits so far. Bench the other way, Elko the other way on a changeup. Infield single for Harris. Wild pitch. And a 3-0 lead in the top of the second inning of game 1 of the finals. Gonzalez swings and a 1-hopper. And a good hop. That'll do it. Gonzalez retired, but another run comes in. Ole Miss doing the running against Oklahoma, the running team. 3-zip. Take a look at our College World Series Finals headlines. When you had the 8 teams come in here, and Oklahoma, their 3rd finals appearance. That 94 team took care of a Georgia Tech team that had Nomar Garcia-Parra and Jason Veritek on it. Last 4 in to their first finals appearance for Ole Miss. And as Kylie McDaniels will share with us on our ESPN.com website, into the draft, they get 7. We have 7 prospects here. The draft coming up soon in Los Angeles just before the All-Star game. A&M beaten, so is Arkansas. Really good final series on the right side of the bracket between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Ole Miss had a chance in game 2 to end it. They had bases loaded in the 9th inning and could not push the tying and go-ahead run across. We went to a 3rd game, and Ole Miss, behind a great pitching performance, able to advance here. Bottom of the 2nd, Oklahoma a little shaky early. Tanner Treadaway, the senior, hitting almost .380, leads things off. Then Jimmy Crooks, home run power, and Wallace Clark, the 3rd baseman. The one thing, Doherty, I get that we've only seen 3 batters, now 4, but getting ahead with that first pitch is a big deal for him.
It is against anybody, but I think it really is against this Oklahoma team. That if you don't, they walked 18 times in their first 3 games in this College World Series, and it was a big part of their offensive success. Was that they were getting some help.
Dad, granddad, Chad and Reggie Treadaway. And family, friends. What did Yanko say? His aunt is here. People flock, the pilgrimage to Omaha each and every year, and the later your team plays, the more people say, you know what, I got 2 games on the weekend. I'm definitely going to make that trip, see if our team can win a championship, see if a relative, a friend. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2-1.
I think early too for Oklahoma. If you come into this against Doherty, you're saying, okay, let's lean fastball and make it beat us with a slider. The slider has looked decent early. You can't just go up there dead red. I mean, you have to respect the slider because it's been better, and it makes that one even better.
One, 2, 3 first. Treadaway. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leads the team in batting average, hits. Well-located fastball that he fouls straight back. 32 multiple hit games this season for the cleanup hitter for Oklahoma.
He's certainly one of the driving forces as to why they're here, not just with his outstanding play, but inspirational, right? The lone senior in this order. You get the feel that a lot of these guys are playing for him as part of their motivation.
2-2, coming back and looking up and making the play is Hayden Dunhurst.
Pretty cool.
There's a little cool factor to that. Yeah. Flip the mask and just let it come on back.
Hayden Dunhurst makes catching look very, very smooth and simple. And there's just not an ounce of tension in him, right? Just even the way he throws the mask is cool. Yeah, just kind of in there. I don't even know if he looked when he caught it.
Crowd.
Just cool.
And now Jimmy Crooks. This kid's got 2 3-run home runs. What was it, Bench the other night, who in the 9th inning at third base also went all Captain Cool on us with a great easy play at third, threw it over like we were playing catch on a beach. 1 ball, no strikes to Crooks, 311 on the season. That's a good slider right there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think maybe one of the knocks on Ole Miss of some of their postseason struggles is maybe too tight, too tense, especially in some of those maybe hosting situations. This team does not feel that.
No.
Hard hit, but on the ground, and it stayed down. Is there, and there's 2 quickies here in the second.
I think that's similar for both of these teams too. I mean, OU thought that they had a chance to host, and they did, and in retrospect should have. Ole Miss wasn't worried about hosting; they were just worried about hearing the name. But the minute that you get in, you know you're going on the road, man. Pressure kind of goes away. Then it's just playing, and they've played their best baseball over the last month.
Next up, Wallace Clark, third baseman. I always thought, and managers at every level, coaches will tell you, like, there is something about a road trip that can absolutely unify a team. And when you're having success and you're on the road, it's even better. Yep, tough up. That way makes another one. That's the 3rd play the second baseman has made today. There have been 6 up, 6 down for the Sooners. Looking for more coverage of this College World Series, the interactive brackets, the information you can find at NCAA.com, your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Second inning in the books. Now the 3rd, and it's 2-0 Ole Miss. And the first pitch misses away. Melko, 4 for 17, a homer, 3 RBIs. He went the other way in a changeup. His first time up, and scored the first run of the game.
Yeah, and the dirt there on the front of his uniform pants kind of tells the story of that first inning, right? A backside base hit on a 2-strike changeup, and then after kind of limping his way to first base, decides to take second on a dirt ball, and that ignited the rally there in the first for the Rebels.
This one to right field towards the corner, tailing away from the right fielder and over the wall. Tim Elko, 2 for 2, his 24th home run of the season. All Ole Miss early, 4-0.
The Rebels are in the house. How about a fastball down and away? And talk about a backside bullet. One for a single in the first, and now one for a Oppo taco piece in the bullpen. Just a missile over the right field wall, and the captain is adding to his legend here early.
First at bat, did not see a fastball. Singled up the middle on the changeup. Second at bat, went off-speed first pitch, then a fastball that tailed away, then a fastball that caught too much. You can't sneak a fastball by that dude. They've tried to do it all year, and it don't work.
Now, one of the themes of this College World Series has been the inability of the team that has trailed to come back. In fact, no team has overcome a 3-run deficit this year in Omaha. And now we're looking at a 4-hole.
And that was some kind of pretty right there. Just kind of in between. Certainly not hunting a fastball, but got one out over the plate and the ability to get the barrel to it, even though he was just a touch tardy, and then the strength to ride it out of here.
1-1 Graham. This one to right. The wind is blowing out too. Be careful at the wall. And it's caught just in front of it as Graham hit that about 333 feet. You need 35 to get over the wall. There's one down.
The wind has died just a touch. That one didn't get much of a helper.
Here is the beauty of Kevin Graham as a hitter. Is the RBI single the first time is a backside line drive that ends up getting Ole Miss on the field. Then he just about goes deep to the right field, right over the right fielder's head. I mean, you cannot play him anyway but straight up, because he can do damage all over the place.
Speaking of damage, Kemp Alderman reached on an error, and check out that moment right there. Graham, who just flew out to right, hugging his buddy Elko, who hit that homer. So you had mentioned it, Alderman at the plate. Skip Johnson says that guy is country strong. I love everything about him. He's hit 3 balls at 109. The first ball he hit with a topspin was what, 108?
100, just shy of 109. Yeah, that's now 5 times in this College World Series that Kemp Alderman's hit a baseball over 108 miles an hour.
And for all the talk of the haters of exit velo, like exit velo is most of them have been on ground balls. They're hard to field.
Yes.
You hit it hard, it's hard to catch.
It's a math equation. If you hit it hard, they don't have as much time to react. It's a basic thing. When that happens, you got a lot better chance to get a hit.
Not everybody likes math.
No?
Fair.
It's fair. Called at the knees. Strikeout for Bennett of Alderman. And if you're a pitcher early, that is a strike he's calling tonight.
Well, you take this one. And Bennett's going to be fairly fastball heavy. In fact, we've seen less changeups tonight than we're used to seeing from Bennett. That time, maybe surprised Alderman. Well-located fastball, glove side at the knees. 4th strikeout of the game for Jake Bennett.
Good changeup to Chatinier, who has struck out his first time up. In fact, Chatinier, and then the second inning, that was the 3 strikeout in a row for Bennett. 4 in the game. He's ahead 0-2. The whole come from behind thing, it doesn't happen very often when you're talking about the College World Series. 2 teams have ever overcome a 4-run deficit in a finals game. Fresno State back in 08. Oregon State trailed Carolina by 5 in game 2 in 06 and came back. That's it.
Yeah, you know what's different there than here? Wasn't at this ballpark.
Fair. Which is even harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who I think both the pitcher and hitter thought that was strike 3.
Now that's impressive.
Talent comes in many different forms.
Impressive.
And that is one form right there.
I bet you could pull that off, KP.
I've given it a try.
I was going to say, not for lack of trying.
Didn't go so well?
You know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again, Berkey.
Well, the outfield concourse is loaded with people, standing room only. here at Charles Schwab Field, downtown Omaha. 2-2 in the hole. Graham, nice throw from the hole, but another run. They've got 2 in the first, 1 in the second, and the big fella, Tim Elko, launches to right.
The captain doing his thing, folks. The Rebels are off to a hot start, and they are being led by their senior slugger. Tim Elko adds another chapter to his legendary book.
It's Ole Miss 4, Oklahoma nothing. We head to the bottom of the third, but before that, we send it to Chris.
Hey, Carl, joined with OU softball coach Patty Gastos, won 6 national championships, including back-to-back ones. What is the hardest thing about winning in this kind of format that's different than any other sport?
I think you just, the team that gets hot, and that's what's happened with OU baseball and Ole Miss, is you can lose 20 games, whatever, but as long as you're hot when you need to be hot and you just get confident, you have momentum and seeing the ball well, pitchers are rested. I think rest has a lot to do with it as well, and just don't change a thing. Don't think about outcomes, just stay in the moment. That's the hardest thing, I think.
This is your first trip to Omaha. And OU has had success in so many sports, but how nice is this to be able to come up here and cheer on the baseball team?
Yeah, I thank Joe Stiglione, our athletic director, and bringing us up here. I thought I would sit here and be very relaxed, and I am very uptight right now, and I feel like I'm coaching. So I'm going to just try to sit back and relax and trust our guys are going to come back. The thing about softball and baseball is you got 9 innings, so this is going to go on for a while.
Maybe Skip and the boys can score some runs, calm those nerves a little bit. Really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Guys.
All right, Chris, thank you, and congratulations certainly to the Sooners softball team winning back-to-back years. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Got him. Strike 3. 7 up, 7 down so far for Jack Doherty. So it has not happened in the same season where a team wins the softball championship and the men's baseball championship. If Oklahoma can turn the trick here in Omaha, then they would become the first. But the Sooners softball program has been on some roll. And the players, of course, in support of each other, both baseball with softball, softball with baseball. And a couple of teams had chances, UCLA and Florida. Neither could turn the trick. Oklahoma down 4-zip. And Sebastian Orduño, the 8th hitter, looks at strike 1.
That OU softball team this year, I think they're 59-3. 59-3. Got to be once in the Women's College World Series. Jocelyn Alo sets the all-time home run record. Pretty decent year in Norman, whether you're a baseball or a softball fan.
There's that scissor kick. I tell you one thing, maybe DeLucia gave Doherty whatever he was, what he was dealing with, because this is just paint, and some confidence. You can feel the confidence.
You said it early. I think there was a distinct advantage to not being the home team today for Ole Miss, because Jack Doherty went out there with a 2-run lead and he was throwing with a ton of confidence. That one's been better too, the breaking ball. He's throwing it to lefties and righties.
Well, and similar to DeLucia, it's been very short, and he's so far been able to get it to both sides of the plate. And you're right, Ravi, the blueprint as far as the stuff looks pretty comparable to what we saw from DeLucia. Maybe not quite as explosive with the fastball, but in the same neighborhood.
DeLucia made a living with an arm side run fastball, and we've seen a few of those from Doherty. 0-2. There's another one. Fastball, arm side run, 92, back-to-back strikeouts. He's got 3 of those, and he's faced 8 and got them all out.
Look at you, Rav. Now we're calling the next pitch. It's pretty easy. Gets into a plus count, elevates a fastball, lets it go. So the slider's been plus. He's throwing a ton of strikes. I think that's a huge advantage right now for Doherty. But he understands how to use that one. Take that fastball, intentionally throw it just up, just out of the zone, and you can't hold off there.
Making a living getting ahead, Kendall Pettis, the 9-hole hitter, the left fielder. Don't be fooled by that 260 average. He's been very warm lately, but a slider to get ahead 0-2. Since about the end of May, Pettis hitting about 355. But right now, no one is touching Jack Doherty.
That's really our first big miss we've seen from Doherty right there, trying to go up and in and just kind of spiked it to the glove side. But see if they go back. That pitch really didn't serve its purpose, or if they're going to go with the breaking ball here.
Got a fastball again. That's 3 in a row, 4 in the game. And through 3, he's been perfect.
How about good morning, good afternoon, good night here in the 3rd inning? You say about Jack Doherty, hadn't started many games this year. He's looked pretty comfortable tonight. Punch out, punch out, punch out here in the 3rd. First time through the order. 4 strikeouts and a 4-0 Ole Miss lead.
See the wind here in Omaha. We welcome you back, and that first pitch is thrown in there for a strike. Jake Bennett, I should say, getting ahead of Dunhurst, Wood, and Harris. Talk about neutralizing a running game when you haven't allowed a base runner. Not going to be able to run very much. 9 up, 9 down. As soon as, it just felt like that first inning, they got the first 2 guys out, and then the little gut punch, little chin. They were knocked back on their feet, and they haven't been able to right themselves yet. Down 4. Dunhurst, that's into right field. That's a hit. They're hitting the ball, and they're hitting it hard. Hayden Dunhurst, leadoff man, aboard.
Well, it's been a struggle for Hayden Dunhurst here in Omaha. Just 0-83 coming into this ball game, but he reaches out and rips one to right. And again, it's interesting with Jake Bennett. The lefties have more success off of him over the course of the season than the righties, and that's now the 3rd base hit in this ball game from a left-hander.
And you talked about those comebacks that were in 06 and 08, of course, playing at Rosenblatt. Only one team has scored a run in the first 4 innings of a World Series finals game. That was Georgia in Game 2 against Fresno State in 2008. And of course, they ended up losing that game 19-10.
Just your average 19 to 10.
Good old Rosenblatt. I was a part of a couple of those. 21-13 and 19-12 were our first 2 games here.
I was the giver of one of those.
Would try to first pitch bunt. There's a little bit of reverse psychology going on. I mean, right now, Ole Miss is doing to Oklahoma what Oklahoma has done to all their opponents. They have 5 sacrifice hits, Ole Miss, all year. Surprised up 4-zip that they pulled it off there with the 1 strike, or no?
I thought it makes sense, as hot as Harris has been, to try to bunt the runner into scoring position with Wood, who hasn't played a ton this year, has kind of just got going here down the stretch. And for whatever reason, Mike Bianco took it off there on an 0-1 count, and now Wood's fighting for his life. I tell you what, though, I mean, for me, if I was going to bunt off Bennett in this situation where you get the second baseman up the middle and a big old left-hander on the mound and the first base, I'd push it. I'd go right between the first and second baseman and make Bennett try to reverse directions and cover the bag. But, with 2 strikes, you're too late there.
Dunhurst leadoff single off first, and the 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, the push bunt against the tall left-hander I always thought was a great play. Very difficult to defend because as a second baseman, you're forced to, do I want to try to stay in double play depth here, or do I need to be over there to maybe defend against the push bunt?
Well, and if you get the first baseman to vacate, if the first baseman comes and gets it, you're safe.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, yeah, because you're going to beat the pitcher. The left-hander falling that way most of the time.
Reminders of Rosenblatt all over this building. There's the Blatt restaurant right next door. 1-2, that's to first. Stepping and not going to be able to throw down to second is Dunhurst, but a good job by Blake Robertson.
Well, that does the job if you're Garrett Wood.
Saw at the top of the show, Skip Johnson took his entire team down to where Rosenblatt once was, at home plate still is, and reminded them, like, you're all connected to the 51 and 94 teams. Picture perfect evening in Omaha for a baseball game. Really for anything outside, but certainly for a World Series game. High chopper to second. Nicholas will get it and fire to first, and down to third goes Dunhurst. Now you go back to the top of the order and Justin Bench, and this is the 2-out situation where Ole Miss has taken full advantage so far today.
Yeah, and KP, the last time up, he inside out's a fastball in, right? So from a pitching standpoint, when you see a guy get inside that inside heater, does that change at all the way you approach him next time?
I think it depends on what the book is. If the book says that's the place to go, I don't go away from it quite yet, just because he did it once.
Oh.
There's a decent indicator up though right there. First pitch change up to Bench. Three of the 4 runs tonight scored with 2 runs. In fact, with 2 outs, excuse me, in both of those innings, it was 2 outs, nobody on. Ole Miss got 2 in the first, 1 in the second, then the leadoff solo home run by Elko in the third.
Robertson, the first baseman, way off first base. And shaded up the middle, second baseman Nicholas in the shadow. Buried a slider, 1 ball and a strike. Foul tipped into the mid. Kind of feels like for Jake Bennett in Oklahoma, we need a shutdown inning.
Yes. Yeah. You got to get off the field with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, right? I mean, they have struck in this scenario throughout the first part of this ball game. You got to stop the bleeding somewhere, right? Post to 0. Get off the field.
Good pitch inside corner, punches him out. They do leave Dunhurst at third for the first time. Bennett walks off without giving up a run. Well, we saw the softball coach in Oklahoma. Obviously, it's been such a power in football and basketball as well. Men's baseball in 1951 and 1994 were champions, and then it's kind of been a downward slide for them. Oklahoma and Texas going to join the SEC in a few years. That's why Skip Johnson wanted everybody to know, like, we should take pride in what we've done here and what we're kind of reestablishing again. Skip Johnson, the Texas assistant from 7 to 17. In fact, both of these guys were mentored by 2 of the greatest college baseball coaches ever. Augie Garrido with Skip Johnson, and Bianco with Skip Bertram, of course, at LSU for so many years. If you're going to learn, those are 2 successful guys to learn from.
No, I'd say they're both on Mount Rushmore, right? Bertman and Garrido are 2 of the all-time greats, no question about it. And I know Mike Bianco had a little conversation with Skip this week, and still getting pointers from the legend.
So one of my favorite things with Mike Bianco is when he starts talking about Skip, if he says something that Skip said, he goes into Skip impersonation immediately, and it is dead on.
Have you ever met a former Berkman player that doesn't?
That's a good point. Yeah.
That is the fourth strikeout in a row for Doherty, Chris.
Skip's advice to Bianco this week was when you're here, you have to have a lot of structure. It allows guys to have a routine. He said, listen, 5 championships in 10 years. He had a unique ability to make teams play their best on the biggest stage. So the biggest thing is I just have to peel back, let these guys play. He even had them go to the same place at dinner last night that they used to go at Cisco's. And the one thing that he did that was a tradition was allow the players at that dinner to all talk in front of everyone, build a teammate.
There's one of those where he said to him, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do and how to do it. I mean, I'm not going to do that.
But
if
here's
I were
what
you,
worked for me.
you may want to think about this.
but I did win 5 of them, so.
Yeah, it was Cassio's last night for dinner, and it was the same place that they went when Mike was here.
Same owner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, the owner hadn't changed. It looks the same, too. The steaks are just as good as they were.
He did say, geez, this place looks familiar.
Yeah.
That's in there for a strike.
Well, and it kind of feels like the Sooners need a jump start, doesn't it? And
Yes.
this is certainly the guy that if you are a Sooners fan, you're looking to get the party started. And a plus count right here. They are hoping their star runs into one. Something. Just get the wheels in motion.
Peyton Graham swinging a miss through Umcam. He's the only one that's actually gotten the ball out of the infield. He flew out to right.
If you're OU right now, you just want to get Doherty to stretch.
Sure.
Just get him in the stretch and see if we can start to make him feel uncomfortable, because he hasn't looked uncomfortable yet.
4 strikeouts in a row, 5 overall, and a 2-2 to Peyton Graham, the shortstop.
Well, and this is no disrespect to the bottom of the order, but as dominant as he has been to start this ball game, like you're looking, if you're in that dugout, you're looking for a guy like Graham. If he blows Graham up, it's a different vibe in the dugout, right? This is the guy that needs to kind of stop this streak. 4 in a row, you need your star to go up there and have a quality AB.
Set up, down and away. And instead, the pitch rides high. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's the one with Doherty we've seen. Like, that's the one that looks tempting, right? That upshoot fastball that kind of runs up and into the right-handers. You've got to leave that one alone. Get him down in the zone.
Part of the chaos that Skip enjoys his offense is really spearheaded by Reggie Willits, who of course was with the New York Yankees last year, and he's back home with Oklahoma. Willits stole 37 bases in 2013. Graham's got 34 this year. 3-2. Wow, another strikeout. That is 5 in a row, and he blew up Peyton Graham.
Inside breaking ball right there from Jack Doherty. Okay, so we talked about the fastball. The Doherty coming in has thrown about 75% over the course of the year. This is what it does. 4-seamer holds plane about as well as you see the average Major League 4-seamer. But what it does a little bit more of, and what we've seen today, is get that arm side run. So stays on plane, gets the arm side run, and then he can back it up with that breaking ball like he did right there.
It's ahead of Blake Robertson. It looks too like they're having a hard time picking up the pitch.
No doubt. And I think too, like we talked about with DeLucia, the breaking ball, he's getting away with the one kind of to his arm side. He's like that one right there on Graham. That ball's supposed to be down the way, but it kind of backs up into an untouchable spot.
This one drilled to right field. On the track, ranging to his right. Alvin Harris is there. He has faced 12. He has retired them all. The strikeout streak is over. The perfect game continues.
Welcome back. The NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One, joined by Mike Bianco. And what have you seen out of Jack Doherty so far today?
Just really good command. You know, we know his stuff, and his stuff can be really good. And one of the reasons we started him tonight was we wanted somebody to fill up the strike zone, and he's doing it. He's doing it with both the fastball and the slider.
We talked before the game. You knew you would have your hands full against Bennett. What's allowed for the early success against him?
I think we just had some really good at-bats. We've laid off some balls down. The fastball can be really dominant at times, but, you know, we've gotten some big 2-out hits.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
looking to bring the school the first ever World Series championship. Game 1, this is the best of 3. Game 2 tomorrow, 2 o'clock Eastern time, an afternoon game, and then if necessary on Monday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. What a start for Ole Miss, though. Their pitcher has been perfect through 4. They have 4, and now we're in the 5th for Jacob Gonzalez to lead things off. Let's do a little deeper dive on Mike Bianco because of all his tenure, etc. What are the assets that he brings as a player, in your opinion?
I think he's a master motivator. Like, you talk about a guy that brings it to the yard every day and, you know, demands that from his players. But his pregame talks are legendary. Of course, I think he learned a lot of that from Skip, right? But I just think when you're around him, there's an energy that he brings to the ballpark. We can feel it in our meetings. His team certainly feels it. You're talking about a guy, when he took over Ole Miss, like when I played in the league, literally nobody was at Ole Miss games. And then he shows up, and now it's turned into one of the great environments in the sport. And he has built that program into a national contender on the field, but to one of the great spectacles from an environment standpoint. Very Bertman-like.
Third inning, this was the blast. Tim Elko. First inning went the other way with a single. And then here, a shot to right. They cleared the wall right in the corner. And a leader of this team is 2 for 2 tonight.
I don't know if he's going to see another fastball. When first at bat, he didn't see a fastball. Everything was off speed. It was a hit, but it was a single up the middle. Shift not on, by the way. They've gone away from the shift. Second time he hit the fastball out. There's a fastball.
Stay hot.
I was just about to say, I don't know that he'll see another one for a strike, but yeah, it's you try to sneak the fastball past Elko, and you could get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, that's the pitch right there. So with his 46th career home run, he's now 2 shy of Kyle Gordon, who is the career home run leader at Ole Miss.
Spot there.
Well, they're going to go to the heater. They're going to go in.
Yeah, you better go in.
Yeah.
Both these teams recently, too, with Texas overshadowed kind of Oklahoma and everybody. And certainly Mississippi State winning the World Series championship last year overshadowed what Ole Miss did. Now, not for the fans at Swayze, but those are sort of external factors, external pressures that these two programs have been dealing with. And obviously you deal with Texas seemingly every year. They were one of the teams that was here. Mississippi State did not have a good season this season, but it's just another reminder within the state of Mississippi. We can have success. And the biggest crowd was here to see a Mississippi State game.
Well, and to Berkey's point, I mean, historically, Mississippi State is always drawn. And you go back to the Thunder and Lightning days.
Yep.
Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro and the history that they had.
Yep.
Ole Miss didn't have that. But Mike Bianco built it. And that ballpark got bigger and bigger, and they kept showing up, and now the success has followed.
Jake Bennett's racking up the strikeout numbers, having with 7 right now. Back-to-back punchies here in the 5th.
This one looked like the curveball. Back and took a little bit more off of it. It's a little bit more depth, and now back-to-back strikeouts here for Bennett. That's 3 in a row.
Well, of course, the legend of Skip Bertman at LSU is that when he showed up, you know, they barely had nets on the batting cages, right? And then, whatever, 5 years later, they're leading the country in attendance, and all the stories about him checking the temperature of the coffee in the concession stand and the whole deal, right? I mean, Mike Bianco literally took that formula to Oxford, and granted, they don't have the national championships, but you look at the support of the program and the attendance and all those things, very similar.
Good play by Jimmy Crooks coming out from his crouch. A 1-2-3 inning. We'll talk with Skip Johnson when we come back. Bottom 5 coming up midway through.
Welcome back to Omaha. The NCAA Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. Joined with Skip Johnson. We had talked today about the calmness of this group. What have you seen from them early?
Well, they took the momentum, and we got to try to get established and get it back.
What adjustments do you make at the plate to get some offense going?
Well, get the leadoff hitter on and kind of get it rolling a little bit.
What have you seen out of Bennett?
Well, I think he's stuck it in there. I mean, that's the biggest thing. They made a good adjustment on him early in the game. And he's made some more adjustments and pitched well the last couple innings.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Skip.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful man right there, Skip Johnson. Right now, obviously frustrated by the way things are going. But it's not easy to get the first guy on. He is throwing strike one all the time.
He is. But, I mean, Skip is great at simplifying things. And quite honestly, it's pretty simple right now. They don't have any base runners. And the way this offense is, it's not a sit-back, wait, hit the home run offense. They need chaos. But if you don't have guys standing on first base, you can't create a whole lot of chaos.
A lot of times when you have games like this from the opposing pitcher, you start to think, do we bunt to get on base? What are we going to do to try to get on base beyond just waiting for strike one and then trying to swing away?
Well, that is a part of their skill set. I don't know that you'll see it here from a guy like Treadaway or even Crooks after him.
Treadaway, one pitch on the infield, third baseman. Wood is there.
You guys mentioned Skip likes to keep it simple. Well, I asked him yesterday, how are the nerves heading into this series? And he said, what are nerves if you've ever had an encounter against a rattlesnake? Which then leads to, of course, you would have been in an encounter with a rattlesnake. That's it. It's hanging on his wall now at home. The picture on the left is interesting. Told us a story about when he was trying to figure out a rotation under Augie Garrido. And he said, found my Friday night starter. That's it. The snake with the venom.
Yeah.
I got a feeling Skip's seen a few rattlesnakes in his time. I don't think that was the only one.
The man has a 6'3" rattlesnake hanging in his house.
Yeah, you look at me and say that like you're surprised.
No, not after that conversation today. I wasn't.
That's great. He was longtime head coach in Navarro Junior College. And then Augie said, why don't you come up to Austin, be my pitching coach and associate head coach towards the end. He was with Augie for 11 years and now the head coach at OU for the last 5. Incredibly well-respected pitching mind.
Right down the middle to Jimmy Crooks. This is the conundrum, right? As a hitter, you don't want to fall behind, but the one pitch pop out to the third baseman,
that's no good.
Doesn't help either.
That's right. Yeah, if we're going to swing at the first one, we'll make sure you get your A+ swing off. The problem is, I think Crooks went up there with the idea of working an AB. Somebody just made a nice catch in the house.
Yes.
Oh, and have some fun with it. Heads up. Watch out for the neighbors.
Yep.
Oh, he's soaking it in. Take in your moment.
I think he's soaking a lot in.
He's back for more. We doubled up the high fives.
Yeah. Soaking has been going on for a few hours, I think.
1-2 on the ground. Nice hop for Elko. And there are 2 down here in the 5th.
Oh, yeah.
We need to see the immediate reaction to the catch because that's probably pretty spectacular.
Full extension, and it went straight into celebration mode. And he's
not done.
Down.
Yep, not done. Not done with the celly.
Inhale, exhale right now.
Another first pitch strike.
I'd like a heart rate monitor on him right now. The
What you ought
heart
to do is throw him a water bottle.
"15 men have come to the plate. He has thrown first pitch strikes to 10 of them, and he has retired the 14 that he has seen so far. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ouch, Wallace Clark off of him. This is a tough play to first, and he got it. How's the night going for Jack Doherty? Deflects off the pitcher. Gonzalez makes the play. He's faced the minimum through 5.
Even when it's not right tonight for Doherty, it is right. Doesn't hurt so bad when your shortstop makes this play. Off the foot, Gonzalez finishes through the first 5. Jack Doherty has faced the minimum. It's 4-0 Rebels.
Take a look at our AT&T 5G drone cam. Pictures from Director Scott Johnson have been outstanding all week. Scott Gustafson's moved up. He's earned first bench all week as well. We used to call it front, now it's first because he has been stellar, as has Jack Doherty. What a night for the Ole Miss Rebels, leading 4-zip. Top of the 6th inning we go. Chris Burke, Kyle Peterson, Chris Budden. I'm Carl Ravitch. Kemp Alderman. You know, were it not for like the wild pitches, right, and the early damage, Bennett's pitched a pretty good game. His stuff's been pretty good, especially lately.
He has. The free bases have certainly come back to bite him. They have aided in a few of these Rebel runs.
But he had 2 outs, nobody on the first and second.
Yeah.
And usually that puts you in a pretty good spot. I still think when Ole Miss stole, it sped the game up, at least for a period of time, for Jake Bennett. He's been able to slow it down here recently. Good breaking ball right there to get Alderman swing.
8th strikeout of the night.
I mean, look, he's got 8 punch-outs and 5 1/3. Like 8 Ks is a pretty loud number against this offense, but you got to give the Rebels a bunch of credit, man. They came out here ready to run the bases, and we see a backdoor breaking ball here from Bennett. Alderman comes up empty. And since then, you know, you live with a backside bullet from Elko in the bullpen. Solo homers rarely beat you. It was the 3 runs in the first 2 innings that started with 2-out rallies that are really stinging right here as we head to the 6th.
Looks like Carter Campbell and Carson Atwood are warming now in the Oklahoma bullpen. Bennett's gotten the last 7. Chatinier, a strikeout and a ground ball is short. That's a good pitch right there. 0-2 at 92 on the corner. You know, the one thing you learn the more you're around this sport, and as long as you guys have been around it, you can go into a game and say to yourself, I'm curious why a head coach or a manager used the pitcher they decided to use, and then you always have to fall back. At least I've learned they know their guys better than anybody, and Doherty has certainly validated the decision tonight. Shallow right center field, and it drops. That's a hit for Chatinier, I should say, and it is another base runner against Bennett. Yeah, that guy likes that. Game 6, Stanley Cup Final continues Sunday night, 8 Eastern, ABC. How about the Lightning last night? Going on the road, winning Game 5, 3-2. They force another one. So back to Tampa we go, Game 6, Stanley Cup Finals. The Avalanche, the Lightning, Sunday, 8 Eastern on ABC. And ESPN Plus.
I think back to your point, Ravi. I mean, from Mike Bianco's standpoint, I mean, he has thrown 12 straight scoreless, right? So it's not like he's grasping at straws.
Right.
They had other choices, but at the end of the day, who throws the most strikes? Who recently has been our 3rd best arm, right behind DeLucia and Elliott? And it's been Jack Doherty. Now, he hasn't been doing it out of a starting role,
right,
but they viewed him very much as an opener. Now, we sit here, he's thrown 5 shut. Like, it's obviously deeper than an opener would typically go,
sure.
But they at least knew they were going to get strikes, quality strikes to start the ball game, and that's all they could have asked for. And boy, they've gotten more than even they could have dreamed of, I think, to this point.
Yeah, and they're getting a little production from guys they hadn't gotten it from. Chatinier getting a hit. Hayden Dunhurst got a hit last time up. Elko's doing his thing, and Graham had a single and an RBI, but the bottom of the order is contributing. Calvin Harris got a hit.
2-out single in the first inning, advanced the second on a wild pitch, and scored on a bench single.
And again, to just kind of finish the point on Doherty, the 5 innings matches the longest outing of his career. He's been perfect.
Guess what? He's not done yet.
He's not done. 0-1 to Dunhurst. Nope, back to first base. So Oklahoma has stolen 145 bases. It feels like everybody has between 10 and 25 of them. Chanier is the leading base stealer in the Ole Miss lineup, and he has 6.
And to me, Bennett is so slow that you could probably go first move and potentially even make it, even if he picks after that. Like even if he reads you.
That was a 1-8.
That's a 1-8, right? So, and it is very deliberate on the way up. At some point, you think they're just going to go and see if he tries to read them.
1 and 2. All right, for people at home who are hearing you guys say 1-8, explain what that means.
So he's 1.8 seconds from the time he makes his first move to the time the ball hits the catcher's glove. Now, Berkey can explain to you what you want as a base stealer, but on the mound, I wanted to be 1-3, 1-3-5 at the worst. Anything quicker than that, guys like to run.
Time's out.
He was going to go. They called time.
And he had him too. So it's 30 yards, obviously, from first to second base. You're getting about a 5-yard lead-ish. Okay, so you're now running, let's say 25 yards. You're going to run that in about 3.3 seconds. Okay,
who's you?
Well, a good base stealer. Okay, so if the pitcher is 1-3 and the catcher is 2 flat, your time is 3-3 to get to second base. As Dunhurst goes down stealing, right? So, like KP says, he wants to be a 1-3, a 1-3-5. He's banking on his catcher to be right around a 2 flat. The math is pretty neutral on whether the guy can steal it or not. If you got an elite base stealer, a guy could really fly, and he's a sub 3-3 from his lead to second base. Like, you have to be lightning fast to keep that dude from going, right? Like maybe an Enrique Bradfield Jr. from Vanderbilt.
And oversimplified with Bennett, it's about a half second longer to get to home plate when he goes than you would ideally like. So that base runner has a half second longer to get 90 feet.
And with that, you don't need to be elite as far as a runner's concerned.
Sure,
right? You can be an average runner and make it. I think the challenge is he's staring at you when you go, right? And so a lot of base stealers get paranoid about running right in a guy's face. But I think one of the things that most guys learn is they're looking at you, but they don't really see you. They've made up their decision whether they're picking or throwing home. So if you lull them to sleep, you can run right in their face, and they can't really make the adjustment, at least most guys. Back. And if you get picked, right, if you guess wrong, like right there if he'd have gone, then you're going to run right at the shortstop because the shortstop will be the guy covering and hope that you can distract the throw from the first baseman and maybe steal it anyway.
A lot better since the first 3 innings. And again, the wild pitches were such a key. He'll be shut in about 3 or 4 minutes there. With an 0-2, 2 out. Pitch coming. Inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think the other thing with a big, tall, slow to the plate lefty is you might not feel comfortable stealing second, but once you get to second, now his advantage of looking at you is gone, right? And you can really, if he's going to be 1-8 at second base, you shuffle, go. You can really easily take third.
Well, you think there's a fan base in the crowd that's aware of a move? I heard, 10,000 people say back.
They're locked in with Chanier over
back.
There. He's got a lot of first base coaches right now.
This Ole Miss team, and you heard Oklahoma women's softball coach say some teams just get hot. Since the start of the Super Regional at Southern Miss, they've outscored their opponents 38-8. And if you go back to the regionals, it was 69-19 coming in. On the ground, flip to second, they get the force there. 3 innings in a row without a run. Oklahoma hasn't gotten a hit. They're coming up in the 6th. Men's World Series presented by Capital One. This is what it looks like. Oklahoma, A&M, Texas A&M, and Jim Schlossnagle. How did he do in his first season? Not bad at all. And now we got an Ole Miss, Oklahoma, best 2 of 3. Sunday, 3 Eastern time, ESPN, 2 o'clock local time, game 2, 3 o'clock Eastern time, 2 local time. And there's the note on Jack Doherty, longest perfect game bid in World Series since the NCAA tournament expanded back in 1999. And you wonder, in a perfect game, you don't want somebody ever thinking like, hey, well, there's guys over there, but he's a reliever. He's not necessarily a starter.
Yeah.
We don't want to get caught, with your hand in your cookie jar and have 2 guys come on and nobody's warm. Like, when does that whole process begin? Assuming he continues to have the success that he's had. And that success is now over. So we talked him right into that.
So to answer your question, it begins right now. It begins right now. So where guys start moving around a little bit different in that bullpen. And the biggest is because it's 4-0 right now for Jack Doherty. We talked about that fastball that really has played up. I think it's been the slider that's been more important today because it's created more room for that fastball to have success. 6 strikeouts for Doherty. All have been swinging. The last on that backup breaking ball to Peyton Graham. And now the first base runner allowed is a single by Jackson Nicholas here to start the 6th.
And he's the 7-hole hitter, Sebastian Orduño. Let's see if it loosens up the Sooners' bats and see if they start to do some damage on the base paths. Still throws a first pitch strike.
Well, and if you're Skip Johnson, you finally got your wish, right? You got a leadoff base runner. You're down 4. It may change a little bit how Reggie Willits, the offensive coordinator, so to speak, will handle this thing. But at the very least, you get him at least in a different look with a different rhythm, and you can at least present some pressure to Doherty here.
Nicholas not going. Next pitch. 0 balls, 2 strikes.
If you're OU, you just wanted to see him in the stretch. Just get some level of comfort out there for Doherty, and the advantage here for the Sooners is they've done it with nobody out.
Six stolen bases, 12 attempts for Nicholas. Doherty comes to the plate, 0-2, just misses inside. You saw a shot of Reggie Willits, and he has brought a very aggressive attitude to this team. He was the guy who kind of suggested to Skip Johnson, we got to get John Spikerman in the lineup. If we're going to play late, we need him. He's the leadoff hitter. So the influence of the assistants is certainly something that Johnson encourages and he will listen to. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the designated hitter Orduño, and he rips this one into right field. All of a sudden, Oklahoma got 2 base runners on with their first 2 hits of the night here in the 6th.
Couple pitches up and out over the plate, right? Makes it a little easier to get the sweet spot of the bat to the back of the baseball. And you talk about some production out of the bottom of the Ole Miss order. Now the Sooners get some production out of their bottom 3rd.
Freshman righty Nichols warms.
And I know they're down 4-0 here, but I would be shocked if they don't do something here with Pettis, right? Mike Bianco going to slow the ball game down here a little bit, let the bullpen get going. And I think he's going to talk about how they want to play defensively here in case Pettit lays one down.
It's not just the stolen bases for OU in this offense. They make you defend in every possible way. Bunt, hit, run, slash. You don't see as much of that in the SEC. I mean, Ole Miss, albeit today, but Ole Miss generally is a team that's going to line up just try to outslug you offensively. Oklahoma approaches it very differently. So from a defensive standpoint, got to make sure you get everything covered.
Kendall Pettis has as many sacrifices as anybody on the team with 5. Nicholas is at second. Orduño is at first. Back-to-back singles. Last pitch that Doherty threw to Orduño was up. We'll see what happens here with Pettis. No, instead he swings away at a fastball up, and he's behind 0-1.
Tried to ambush him right there, didn't he? Was definitely hunting a first pitch fastball, and Doherty continues to throw that fastball just above the hitting zone.
Now he bunts, and it's a good one. Fielded by Wood off the line, back up, and here's the throw home, not in time. They do get the run. Nicholas scores as Garrett Wood barehanded it and threw it past Elko. And the backup of Chanier didn't do anything. It still allowed the run to score. It's first and second. Nobody out, 4-1.
Right, here come the Sooners. Great job of getting that ball softly up the third base line. Make Wood come and defend it. I don't think he was going to get Pettis. Chanier had a chance if he didn't slip, but once he kind of lost his footing, don't think he had a chance to get the play at the plate. Watch his back foot slip right there.
Yeah.
And Nicholas comes home easily. And here you go. The Sooners starting to play their brand of ball, exactly what they were hoping for here in the sixth.
They got out of the stretch. They've got one in, and now they turn this lineup over again. The third time that this OU offense has seen Jack Doherty tonight.
Pitch to Spikerman. In there, called strike one. So Oklahoma a little rally here after being shut out. A perfect game into the sixth inning. Nicholas a leadoff single, Orduño a single, Kendall Pettis. They give him a hit on that bunt, then an error on the throw. No RBI.
I bet we're going to see another bunt right here, too. What do you think? Another bunt for a hit up the third baseline?
Bit in trouble for Doherty. You saw his catcher Dunhurst put both hands down, trying to calm the moment. You can hear some OU chants starting to reverberate through Charles Schwab Field.
Here come the Sooner fans. Haven't had a whole lot to cheer about to this point. Oh yeah, now that is a hat right there. Yes.
The sleeve going on the left arm.
Swag out.
2-1 to Spikerman. That's high. 3 balls and a strike. First tension for Doherty and Ole Miss. Yeah, that's tension.
Yeah. Things can flip quickly, can't they?
I think regardless of outcome right here, this is Doherty's last hit.
3-1. Should be a good pitch for Spikerman. Nope, that's high. Bases are loaded. 3 hits and a walk in the inning after being perfect through 5. And will they let him face Peyton Graham? No, they will not. Mike Bianco has been validated in the decision to start Doherty, who was flat out tremendous right until the 6th inning. The 5th had been the longest that he had thrown 5 innings. And Nicholas is going to come on and try to put out a fire. A bases loaded jam with nobody out.
Heck of a job there from Jack Doherty.
Sure was, and the Ole Miss fans certainly on the first base side, a standing ovation. Team out to greet him. A lot of action here in Omaha when we come back. Now things have changed right now. Ole Miss, Jack Doherty, tremendous, 5+, but he leaves with the bases juiced. The best hitter For Oklahoma is Peyton Graham. He's coming up. He has been outstanding, that kid, with the bases loaded. He's 5 for 12, and he's got 3 grand slams. So you're Mason Nichols. What are you thinking?
Well, you think it's a pretty big spot to bring a freshman in, I'll tell you that. For Mason Nichols comes in 20th appearance. And the freshman has been very good this year. 36 strikeouts and 29 2/3. Obviously nowhere to put Peyton Graham. Maybe the most exciting player that we have at this College World Series. Now for OU, you get the guy walking to the plate that you really want in this spot. And a freshman standing 60 feet away. It's a low 90s fastball and a slider. That's it. Primarily 2 pitches for Nichols. Not a whole lot of room for error right now.
Here's 4-zip into the bottom of the 6th. Oklahoma hadn't had a base runner. Now they have 3 more. They have their first run. And to Kyle's point, what an opportunity for Peyton Graham, who is Mr. Electricity for the Sooners. Josh Mallitz continues to warm for Ole Miss. Biggest spot of the game, biggest spot of the night. He bounces the first one.
It's about 50-50 slider fastball to the right-handers. 54% fastball, 46 slider. You can bet Peyton Graham's going to see a few of those in this AB.
Show you a little something right there. First pitch slider misses away with the bases loaded. So you got a 1-0 count. And he comes back and throws another one right there and steals a strike to even the count.
Orduño is at third base. Pettis second base. Spikerman first. A lot of speed on the bases. And the 1-1 to Graham. And that is to the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Mason Nichols, just into the game.
So 3 in a row, and that was not a comfortable swing at all. I mean, you can tell that one fooled him completely. 6 1/3 straight scoreless for Nichols entering the ballgame. That slider looks awfully tight here the first 3.
Got him. He threw another one up in the zone, and the slider gets Nichols to swing and miss. A huge strikeout.
Well, he threw 4 pitches. It was all the same one, different locations. So first pitch slider misses. We're 1-0. Steal 1 there, and then the 1-1 slider, probably the best of any 4 that he threw. This was not the best, but it was almost too high from a hitter's standpoint. The hanger's the one that comes down at its belt high, maybe a little bit below. That was up and above the belt. Peyton Graham swings through it. Now the freshman is 1 pitch away and a hard ground ball away from getting out of this thing.
Blake Robertson missed there. Robertson, a .231 hitter with the bases loaded. Drops one in, and this is a steady diet. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's 7 in a row. 7 pitches, 7 sliders so far for Mason Nichols. Each time he fell behind 1-0. Each time the slider got him back to a plus count.
Ahead 1-2 on the redshirt sophomore of Edmond, Oklahoma, Blake Robertson. Nope, fastball, and he got him as it's foul tipped into the mitt. 94-mile-an-hour gas up top, back-to-back strikeouts.
Man, how about the freshman now? Just coming in with ice water in his veins, making pitches. After 3 straight sliders, the 4-seamer just above the barrel of Robertson. And you talk about coming in out of the bullpen, ready to throw your best bullets. Pretty impressive stuff to this point.
If you're Treadaway right now and you want to take a chance, I'm sitting slider early.
First pitch.
First pitch, second pitch. I mean, everything to this point besides the 1-2 strike pitch has been a slider. That's 7 of 8 sliders, 2 strikeouts for the freshman Mason Nichols.
Well, Graham may be the best player. Treadaway is the focal point of this team, and the first pitch to him is down. The senior is a terrific hitter with runners in scoring position. He's .385 with the bases loaded. There are the numbers. He's got 1 grand slam. And Mason Nichols inherited a bases loaded, no out situation. He's got 2 quick ones with strikeouts. And behind, 2 balls, no strikes. Bianco go to the walkie-talkie that relays the pitch call to Dunhurst. Then the fingers go down. Ooh, missed inside, and now it is a 3-ball, no strike count with the bases loaded.
Just missed.
He's trying to go away too. That was a pretty big miss considering where he was set up.
3-0. And he paints with a fastball. No green light for Treadaway, but now a great 3-1 count for the center fielder who's got 9 homers this season and 65 runs batted in. The runners are Nicholas Orduño, I should say Orduño, Pettis, and Spikerman. That's inside. That walks in a run. Ball 4 to Tanner Treadaway. And it's 4-2.
Well, and as much as you hate walking in a run, like right there with that hitter and that moment, the last thing you want to do is make a mistake with a fastball and give up a 4 spot. But you walk him, now you got to deal with Jimmy Crooks, who's come up with big hits all week long for the Sooners.
He's been their home run guy. You see the numbers in the World Series. 2 homers, both 3-run shots for Crooks. The redshirt sophomore stands in with the bases loaded. Now down 4-2. Swings at the first one, right back to the pitcher, Nichols. Okay, bases loaded. Nobody out. 2 runs come in. And he'll get some hands from the Rebels. We're through 6, 2-run ball game, new ball game in Omaha. It was, along with Kyle Peterson, Chris Burke, Chris Budden, Carl Ravitch. Ole Miss had a 4-zip lead into the 6th. And their pitcher was just rolling along, but Jack Doherty, after the longest outing of the season for him, he started to get hit. 3 straight singles, a walk. He came out. Mason Nichols did the job with the bases loaded, right? Is that considered doing the job? You give up 2 with the bases loaded?
Absolutely. In that spot, absolutely. I think the most impressive pitch that he threw for me was the second pitch after he came in.
Why is that?
You got bases loaded, nobody out. First pitch slider misses.
Badly.
Okay, so now we're at a 1-0 spot, and he comes right back to the slider, gets it for a strike, and then rode that pitch the balance of the inning. Because you go 2-0 on the first guy with the bases loaded, nobody out, man, that zone gets really small.
It's 2-0 now to Calvin Harris. And he fouls one off. I hear you, I love you, and I agree with you. The other part of that was the slider, 94 paint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Nichols only gave up the 1, right? The other scored on the bunt from Pettis before the bases got loaded. So he comes into a bases loaded situation and just give up the 1 run. I mean, that is incredible stuff out of the bullpen for a freshman who has really earned his stripes here in the postseason for the Rebels.
With Graham, Robertson, and Treadaway.
Yeah.
There's a calmness about him, and they got that early 2-0 lead, and Doherty settled in. And then the freshman Nichols comes in and gets the job done.
And on the flip side, Bennett has been spectacular here after the
Yes.
2-out situation in the first 2 innings. And he's, now that the offense has posted a crooked number, they're right back in the game here, just down 2 runs.
The question is going to be, how long does he stay in the game as he faces the 9-hitter Harris, and he gets him with a strikeout. That's punch out number 10. Tomorrow night, Sunday night, we will be in Atlanta for the Dodgers and the Braves. LA took game 1 4-1 last night. Freddie Freeman got his World Series ring, and then he contributed offensively, and so did Trey Turner. We'll kick it off with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown at 6 Eastern time on ESPN, and then at 7 Sunday night baseball. That's presented by Taco Bell, and we got our answer. Skip comes out and says the 9-hole hitter with 10 punch outs is good. We do not want Jake Bennett to see the top of the order a 4th time. We're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, Oklahoma has gone to the pen. Chaz Martinez, next pitcher up in a 4-2 game.
All right, so that'll do it for Jake Bennett tonight. What I thought was really good. I mean, the fastball played up. It was into the mid-90s. We talked about his changeup a lot coming into this. When the changeup was fine, and there it was right there for the strikeout to Garrett Wood. But I like the breaking ball today, too. The slider was good, slowed down a curveball. This was the home run, and it really wasn't that bad of a pitch. It may have split the plate. It was down at the knees, maybe even a little bit below. But facing one of the best power hitters in the country, Oko hits it out to right. So for Bennett, 3 earned runs, didn't walk anybody, punched out 10. You'd take that night, I think, any day of the week going into the finals. But he leaves trailing by 2.
Chaz Martinez, 22nd appearance of the season, the lefty. He'll get Justin Bench, top of the order, and then Jacob Gonzalez. You see the sophomore, 6'3", 210. And there are his numbers.
Fastball slider heavy with Martinez. You see a changeup too, but really leans on fastball slider. And it's 45% fastball, 44% slider. So you'll see that combo quite often. There's the slider right there in a 2-0 count.
He was a starter for him earlier in the season, moving to the bullpen after that. For Martinez, stuff generally not the issue. It's controlling the stuff. The walk numbers are up, 31 in 63 innings.
That's way wide, 3-1, just to pay off the start. So Jake Bennett, Cade Horton, and David Sandlin, 3 of them. They each had a 10 or more strikeout game in the College World Series. That's the first since Alex Faedo and Jackson Kowar and Brady Singer, all great pitchers, did it for Florida back in 2017. So that's pretty good company to keep.
The year they won it in 2017, so that's even better company because of that. They've been fantastic. Look, Bennett was awesome. We talked about the wild pitches is really the only thing I'm sure he wishes he had back.
3-2. Hard on the ground, ranging to his left, scooping it, and a nice play by Peyton Graham.
Nice play there, moving to his left by Peyton Graham. The other thing, you think about the ball that Harris hit with 2 outs in the second. That goes as a knock, but that's a play that I'm sure Jackson Nicholas expects to make, right? The charging ball that he throws short of Robertson. So if that play goes different, really good pitch, right? Bottom line, 10 punch outs, no walks. He was really, really good tonight.
And that brings up Jacob Gonzalez with 2 down here in the 7th. And that's high and inside. The other, the blessing and the curse of having the great starts from Bennett and Horton and Sandlin, not a lot of pitchers get used. For Chaz Martinez, first time he's been in a game at the World Series.
Well, and coming into today, they had only used 5 pitchers here in Omaha, and one of those was Jared Gottman, who had only pitched 1 inning. Right. So it's basically been the 3 starters and Trevin Michael to this point.
Game 1, best of 3. 7th inning, Ole Miss 4, Oklahoma 2. 3 balls, no strikes. Game 2 is 3 Eastern time, 2 o'clock local here in Omaha tomorrow. Day game, game 2 tomorrow. And then Monday, if there is a game 3, 7 o'clock Eastern time. 3-0 to the two-hole hitter Gonzalez.
Ball.
Just misses, and that's a walk. Three-0 slider instead of a fastball.
I think that tells you what pitch he trusts to control the best.
Slow it down. Am I in it?
1950. First time that the College World Series was played here in Omaha. This is the 75th edition. Ole Miss and Tim Elko trying to bring the school their first title. Walking Gonzalez means the best hitter in the program and one of their great home run hitters of all time gets a chance for his second. On the corner, strike one.
KP, you talked about the home run he hit in his second at bat. I mean, that is a pitch so few people can hit out of the ballpark. I mean, you might give up like a opposite field line drive on that pitch every once in a while, or maybe something back up the middle, but the strength to hit a pitch down and away like that out, it's awfully impressive.
He's one of the better power hitters in the country, and sometimes they get you.
Yeah.
If they're going to get you, you'd prefer they get you when there's nobody on base. And if there's a plus for OU, that's what it was, the solo home run for Elko. But he is figured into the story tonight for Ole Miss. 2-out single in the first, came around to score their first run, then the solo home run in the third, and now done it again.
Another one, 100 looked like off the bat. That goes into right field. Gonzalez will go to third. Tim Elko in game one of the World Series Finals has 3 hits.
Man, 106-mile-an-hour bullet to the backside again, right? We've now seen him use the middle of the field, and then now 2 balls to right field. This one up and out over the plate, a rocket past Robertson, and they've cashed in a couple 2-out singles. Now a 2-out walk is standing on third base as the Rebels look to increase that lead, maybe back to where it was just an inning ago.
So a first and third situation for Kevin Graham as they try to get back some of the runs they just gave up. Graham a single and an RBI in the first. Right back to the pitcher, and the inning is going to end just like the last half ended, with base runners on and a ground ball back to the pitcher. 4-2, bottom 7 coming up when we come back to Omaha. This is the NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. Does strike you, the Little League World Series, you get the mighty Sus, and you roll in Omaha, you get the mighty Miz. I mean, there are rivers everywhere around the Little League and College Baseball World Series arenas. The bracket, Oklahoma, A&M, that was the left side. Right side was Ole Miss and Arkansas. Dave Van Horn's team beaten by Ole Miss. We move some positions around. Justin Bench now at third base. TJ McCants is in center field.
You get the feeling this is the look you're going to see from Ole Miss tomorrow, too, because you got right-hander on the mound for OU, and this is their better defense.
Yeah. Wallace Clark behind 0-2. He was the guy in the 5th inning that hit one back up the middle that went off the foot of Jack Doherty to the shortstop. And then Gonzalez threw him out, and that was the end of the 5th, and the perfect game was rolling there. And how about Nichols? Punch out of Wallace Clark. 3 strikeouts for Mason Nichols.
I don't know the way this thing's going to end, but if Ole Miss wins this game, it better not be forgotten the job that this kid has done, because Doherty was amazing to start it and then got himself in a mess, and a freshman came in, got him out of it, only allowed the 1 run when he came in, and now he gets a swinging strikeout from Wallace Clark here to start the 7th. That's now 3 of the 4 outs recorded by Mason Nichols have been via the strikeout.
You have a Nichols to Nicholas situation here. The first pitch misses away. This looks like a changeup at 84 miles an hour. For people that watch Ole Miss play, when somebody like this, a freshman, comes on, is this sort of a preview of what you might see on a weekend rotation next year? Do you leave guys in the bullpen?
I mean, the stuff profiles as bullpen because it's fastball slider. Both are very good, but it's 2 pitches. Obviously, it's a lot harder to go deeper into games if you're only throwing 2 pitches. Now, there may be more and you just limit it to 2 pitches when he's in this role, but it passes the eye test, that's for sure.
Well, the one thing you have to have the pitch on the weekends in the Southeastern Conference, and you got to be able to control the arena, right? You got to be able to hand yourself in hostile crowds, and he certainly has proven he can do that. There's no bigger arena than the one he's in right now. Certainly the moment he found himself in last half inning.
Big moment for the freshman, but Nichols has been incredibly loose in between innings, down in the dugout, joking around with his teammates, drinking a gallon of water. Some guys you don't talk to. This one, he's loved talking to his teammates.
He's got the Ole Miss crowd on their feet as he delivers 2-2.
The other thing I'll say that's interesting about what I'm assuming we're going to get from the Rebels is look at Doherty, Nichols, and if they go with Mallets next, it's 3 guys that are pretty similar, right, as far as stuff-wise. Hard breaking balls, elevated fastballs. But at this point, if Oklahoma's struggling with it, you're probably going to keep throwing guys like that out there at them.
2-2. Dunhurst couldn't hang on to it, in and out of the glove.
Doesn't quite stick in the pocket. Down closer to the thumb, can't hang on to it. Mason Nichols will have to go back to work.
Got him. Another strikeout for Nichols. That's his 4th. And it's the 10th strikeout of an Oklahoma hitter tonight.
All 10 have been swinging, too. I mean, we talk about the patience of this Oklahoma offense, and it is patience, but that patience gets tested when the other side is throwing a lot of strikes, and that is what Ole Miss has done tonight. Walked just 2, both were in that 6th inning. Now back-to-back strikeouts here from Mason Nichols in the 7th.
1 2/3, 4 strikeouts. And those runs charged to Doherty. Jackson Prep star said he couldn't ask for more. We're in Omaha, freshman year, Ole Miss. Get to go to school in Oxford. I'm winning.
There's a lot of wins there.
I'm winning. Two down. Sebastian Orduño, 2-0. Orduño singled his last time up. And he scored 1 of the 2 Oklahoma runs. And we talked in terms of rise fastballs. Really, it's just a lack of drop. The ones that stay up, they just don't drop as much. He seems to, at 91, have that ability. Stays up.
And I think the next guy they see is going to show him something similar, right? A hammer breaking ball, maybe even better than the first 2 as far as that's concerned, and then an elevated fastball. Ole Miss is throwing a handful of premium right-handers at the Sooners tonight.
Shook off the first 2, looking for 3 strikeouts in the inning. He likes that high fastball right now.
He's getting it there too. Really haven't seen any misses from the thighs to the waist.
It's
Everything's been above. Yeah.
It's very intentional where he's throwing it, and the breaking ball plays well off of it. We got about 15,000 on their feet right now.
He went up from the 6th floor to the 7th floor on that one, and he's able to foul it off.
Take a chance back with that back foot slider here.
It feels like if you execute it, it's an out.
Here it comes.
Chris Budden just reported that he's having a great time during the half innings where he's on the bench. He seems to be very comfortable on the mound too, flashing a smile after that slider hung up for ball 2.
Orduño throwing a heck of an AB together right here. You talk about wasting quality pitches. Every one of those fastballs right there above the belt have been exactly where Nichols is trying to throw them.
Orduño broke out of a 4 for 26 slump with his hit in the last half. Tenth pitch of the at-bat will be coming. Called strike 3. Mason Nichols, the freshman, shines on the College World Series stage. He strikes out the side. Clark, Nicholas, and Orduño. Oklahoma got 2 runs in their bullpen, which has been a huge story for Ole Miss. Certainly as they've rebounded and gotten better. I believe they've given up 2 runs in now 23 innings postseason.
Bullpen?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been great again tonight.
Kemp Alderman, and there is a strength about him, and there's Mason Nichols, who's part of that vaunted bullpen.
Well, usually to win a national championship, you got to get great play from your stars. And then also somebody maybe outside of the norm does something special, right? And you look at this Ole Miss pitching staff, their stars have definitely performed. But this bullpen, I mean, who could have thought that they would pitch at this level? And it's not just one, multiple guys.
1-2, and that is out of the reach of Nicholas. Into right field goes Kemp Alderman. That's a good example of his strength.
This is a grown man right here. Now, I watched the strength of Kemp Alderman. I mean, this is literally the definition of muscling a baseball. Watch the arms. Just a gator arm move through the baseball, and then the strength to still shoot it past Nicholas at second base. He is having himself one heck of a World Series.
He's jumping on the radar for a lot of different things right now, and how hard he has hit the baseball here. And I know that wasn't one of them there, but there have been plenty. Double barrel action continues down in that OU bullpen. But Kemp Alderman is a name to really remember heading into next year.
Chatinier sends this one skyward and comes right back towards where we are behind home plate. Souvenir for a fan. Chatinier's hit came in the 6th inning. And then he was stranded there at first base. 4-2 Ole Miss, game 1, best of 3 College World Series finals. And Chaz Martinez on in relief. Throws the next one. Nice slider there, 0-2.
Pumping himself up there, KP. We got a little self-talk going on.
Just having a little discussion with himself.
Center field, Treadaway, good jump, and he can't get there. Right in front of him, try to deke the runner, but it drops back-to-back singles for Alderman. And now Peyton Chataway. So we continue to reflect on Title IX, part of ESPN's 50-50, an initiative that commemorates the 50th anniversary of the landmark civil rights law. Throughout June, ESPN is delivering incredible content that explores and analyzes the first 50 years of Title IX and the women who are helping move the world forward. Ole Miss in business, and Mike Bianco is talking with Hayden Dunhurst. Chatinier and Alderman aboard, nobody out.
But for Dunhurst, Ole Miss has 5 sack bunts the entire season as a team. Dunhurst doesn't have any. So if that discussion was about bunting, Mike Bianco and Hayden Dunhurst right here, it would be the first time this year that he's asked him to do it.
Catcher Dunhurst, who is now obviously the hitter, is looking back like, really, that was a strike. You could see he was really surprised by that call. He's wondering, was it called on an offer or was it called as a strike on the pitch?
I thought it was called on the pitch.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But he certainly looked back at Chris Koski. Got it down. They say go to third, and they have him there. There'll be no throw to first base. A little too close to the pitcher, and a good job by Martinez, the lefty.
The hardest thing to do when you're trying to bunt the ball to third base for a left-handed hitter is if you get a ball up and in. So watch him get out over the plate, and then this ball jams him, right? And it totally changes his angle. He had his angle set towards third base, and then as the ball starts taking off kind of towards his chest, it moves the angle of the bat. It's now reset back towards the pitcher, and that is the last place you want to bunt it, especially if it's bunted firmly. Martinez does a nice job of playing catch there at third base.
Yeah, big out. Now TJ McCants bats for the first time. Now with a lefty on the mound, is it impossible to change the angle and try to just bunt it to, as you've said earlier, where the pitcher is not, bunt it down the first base side?
I think once you've set it to third and you're trying to hang in there, next thing you know, that ball kind of runs at you. I think that's where it becomes very difficult.
Alderman going. Here's the throw to third. Safe, and did he hold it with his foot? Because the hand came off. And the third base umpire, Scott Klein, was right on it. This may be worth another look. It looked like that front left hand slid off, and maybe the foot stayed on.
Chatinier got a great jump, and yeah, the hand gets in there. Now, does he hold it, as you're saying, Ravi?
Yeah, there's no tag there. He has
no tag applied. Whoop.
The foot's on.
And the toe is on. Oh, that is close.
I think the toe snuck off at the end.
So he beats it initially for sure, right? I think the hand got in there, and now this will be the look here. So we're
good. We're good. Now it's late though.
And you can't see it there. Wow, that is interesting. Oh, here you go. That's a great look. If the glove's on him, he's out.
Yeah, I think the glove may have, after the second or third reach.
It looked like Scott Klein wasn't looking at the very end as to where Chatinier's foot was.
He's out.
Yeah, I think he might be out.
I think there's some space there between the toe and the bag.
How about Ole Miss, though? Aggressive front, sending the runner, sending both runners. So now we go into our first review of the night. The call on the field. Safe at third base. Everybody is looking up at the giant jumbotron in right field.
You know, so many times this happens on turf and we blame the turf. Well, we've seen that happen a couple times here where guys have gone to the edge of the base and not been able to hold themselves to the bags.
And he's trying to. Right now, he's trying to catch that edge
with
of the
everything,
bag.
isn't he?
Okay, now watch. These two are synced, so you should be able to tell if the tag is there.
Not yet.
No, but it is now, I think. And now that toe's not back.
Now it is still not back.
I think he's out.
After further review, the call on the field will be overturned to out. The runner slid off the bag. Oklahoma will retain its challenge.
Well, first and second, nobody out, and that has changed quickly, right? A bunt gone awry and a missed opportunity for a stolen base as Chatinier slides past the bag.
It's a giant spot right now for OU. If you can get off the field, get this offense back in there, which has been fairly quiet today, but still, it's only a 2-run game. It feels like it may be a little bit bigger than, but it's only a 2-run game. You get McCants here, and you're still in business.
2 down, 1-1 pitch. This ball driven to right, going back. Spikerman, see you later. Caught in the bullpen, and a 2-run home run for McCants. A huge hit for Ole Miss. (6-2) Rebels.
Wow. TJ McCants did not get the start today because he typically struggles off left-handed pitching, but he gets a hanging breaking ball sitting right down Broadway, and he is right on time, and the barrel is accurate to the back of the baseball, and they pull it into the right field bullpen, and what a moment for that young man.
Second hit in Omaha for McCants. Look at that emotion. Just when it looked like Ole Miss may have run themselves out of a big inning, McCants about face, and not sure who caught it out there. It may have been Mallets, though, the pitcher that was warming up. The ball ended up in his glove. And another shot, this one deep to right center field. Going back, looking up, and it's gone! Back-to-back home runs, the bottom of the order delivers. Calvin Harris leaves the yard. 7-2 Rebels. Well, the two dugouts will tell you exactly what is going on. As DJ McCants, a 2-run shot. Calvin Harris exit stage right. Back-to-back bombs, and Ole Miss has taken a 2-run lead and now increased it to 5.
Wow. Just when it looks like, KP, the Sooners are going to wiggle out of that one. The Rebels with 2 big swings of the bat, and man, this place is rocking.
2017, Quincy Naporte and Cal Raleigh for Florida. They go back-to-back against LSU. The last time we've had back-to-back home runs in Omaha.
How about TJ McCants, man? Doesn't get the start. Comes in, he's got to go left on left, and he changed it.
Justin Bench, wait a minute. Back-to-back-to-back. 3 in a row. Justin Bench, 4th of the year, 8-2. And Ole Miss has got the sticks out. He went up. That first pitch he swung at that he fouled back was all about a home run swing, and it continued through the at-bat.
You talk about seeing the baseball. The Rebs are seeing it awfully well right now. Another hanging breaking ball, and this one is a rocket, this time to the left center field seats, and there is a lot of Rebel blue in that outfield, and they are having some fun as the boys are giving them some home run balls to throw around in the outfield. Maybe some Swayze showers going on out there.
Carter Campbell coming in. Brad Cressy, Clint Earnhardt, Wes Davis. Last time we've gone back to back to back. That was in 1998. We're in 2022. And McCants, Harris, and Bench have done the same. The NCAA Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Two leadoff men aboard. All of a sudden, you had 2 outs, nobody in. And then the match was struck, and the place exploded. TJ McCants, a 2-run home run. Calvin Harris, a solo shot. Justin Bench. Hammer time for the Rebs. Back to back to back. First time since '98 we've seen that at the College World Series. And boy, you cut a lead from 4-zip to 4-2, and you just give up 4. Chaz Martinez has been replaced. Maybe a little late for that, with Mallets warming in the bullpen. 8-2 Rebels. And the second leading home run hitter on the team is this guy, Jacob Gonzalez. 3 have left the yard in a hurry.
Well, we talked about it on the preview show last night. Nobody this century has won a College World Series with an ERA over 5. Oklahoma came into this finals with a 5.33 ERA, but they pitched outstanding here in Omaha because the formula has been starter to closer. The Rebels have been able to get into the middle relief here.
Ooh, a shot that deflected off Campbell to the shortstop, and he looks to be okay, and Gonzalez is retired. Wow, there was a lot of loud noise out of the bats of the Rebels, and now there's a lot more loud noise inside Charles Schwab Field. 8-2, Ole Miss. Welcome back, everyone, to Omaha, Nebraska. This is Game 1, College World Series Finals. Ole Miss with a 4 spot on back-to-back-to-back home runs. Bottom of the order, TJ McCants, who came on as a defensive replacement, hit in the 8th spot, a 2-run shot. Calvin Harris, who has been really good in the postseason, delivers, and so does Justin Bench. Yeah, LSU in 1998. All right, boys, what just happened?
Whew.
Yeah, I mean, turning point. You got a 4-2 ball game.
Yeah.
It looks like OU's going to wiggle out of the thing, and then TJ McCants, who didn't start this game, drops the head on a slider, and this place erupted. I mean, we're used to seeing beer showers in Oxford when they hit a home run. That's something new to the fine folks of Omaha, and they just got baptized because it was all over the place.
Here comes Josh Mallets. He's been unreal. You see the 17 appearances, a 124 ERA, 44 punch-outs, 10 walks. He needs to get 6 outs. You saw the drop on that first pitch breaking ball to Kendall Pettis. 9-1-2 for what has to be a shaken Oklahoma group. Look out. Oh. That caught the home plate umpire off the helmet.
So how about this with Mallets? 62% sliders as we take a look at this one coming right into your living room. Heads up. This skimmed the ump cam. Yikes.
Something popped off there.
But 62% sliders to right-handed hitters. And overall, it's 54% sliders. Opponents are hitting 0.78 off that breaking ball. I mean, it is a A-plus spinner.
Oxford has migrated to Omaha, and they have made themselves very comfortable. This would not be a comfortable guy, Mallets, to try to square around and bunt. That ball is hard and moving all over the place, but a leadoff walk to the 9-hitter.
You know, last year with the run that State had, we said in the middle of it, half the state of Mississippi's in Omaha. Well, now the other half of the state of Mississippi has been in Omaha, it would appear.
And maybe a few households that are divided that came last year, too. You never know, but it is it's been a pretty good run in Omaha for the state of Mississippi last couple of years.
Ball 1, and Mallets is yet to find the strike zone.
Here's the thing, OU's taken. Those first 2 aren't button for a hit. They're taken right now, and I think if you're Mallets, I understand how often he throws a slider and the success he's had. Throw the fastball, get strike 1, then go to work right now, because it's probably what Mike Bianco's saying at this point is, here's the offensive approach. They just need base runners. And when they get base runners, that's when this offense can really go. But it would appear to me, at least, Pettis on the bunt and Spikerman on the bunt, they were just simply showing because they were taken.
Yeah, slow down. They're not swinging. Throw the ball right down the middle.
Yeah.
But I think with Mallets, I think there are times where the breaking ball is the pitch he trusts the most for a strike.
That's got a lot of movement to be comfortable landing. That's the challenge. I mean, it is an outstanding swing and miss pitch. It's not the easiest one to land.
And there is the answer. Fastball in there for a strike at 92. The slider's been so good, there were some who were asking, was it comparable to Scotty Biddle's, who was so good in 2008 throwing it for the thing? And Bianco only said, well, no one's hitting it. That's much better. After that fastball, he buries one in there for a strike to get ahead 1-2, and you can even see the pitcher taking a deep breath. Strikeout of Spikerman.
All right, so much of our discussion was who was Ole Miss going to throw today. They go with Jack Doherty. It's worked out great to this point. When that was the case, we knew who they were both going to throw tomorrow. Cade Horton was outstanding in his one start here in Omaha. Hunter Elliott was the same. So you got Horton, draft-eligible sophomore, who's really come on as of late. Hunter Elliott, a freshman, that's gotten better every single week for Ole Miss.
You hear the home plate umpire screaming that that's a balk on Josh Mallets. Let's see what home plate umpire Chris Koski saw.
What's that, no discernible pause?
No, I think he must have said he double set to where he was set at the beginning and his hands came up a little bit and came to set again, because he definitely was a pause, but then there was a movement after.
We talk about some vertical break. Mallet showing it to Peyton Graham.
I mean, this is a major league quality pitch.
Yes, it is. Mallet's had an ERA of 7.33 as a freshman. He got a few midweek starts. Then all of a sudden, he started throwing that slider about 70% of the time, and he acknowledged, it makes my fastball a lot more effective. You think?
No doubt about that.
Oh. Another strikeout. Peyton Graham is gone. He has struck out 3 times tonight.
This is one of those, man, you can read whatever scouting report you want. And you can go up there and know he's going to throw it. But if you haven't seen it, it's different than most others that you're going to see at this level. That is a big league swing and miss slider right there. And it's led to back-to-back strikeouts here in the 8th.
And it has the movement, doesn't it, of a curveball? I mean, the vertical drop is more curve than slider.
I think mindset, he's thinking power pitch, which so often then you think slide. You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, right.
They don't hit it.
It reminds me of a Brad Lidge slider, where it is just as flat as it could possibly be, and like you're saying, it's going straight down. There's really not much horizontal break to it. The old Astros and Phillies closer, who was so good for so long, that sucker is just hard to pick up out of his hand.
I love the Bianco trip to the mound. I mean, has that altered everything? missed that pitch badly, and now Pettis will round third. He's coming home. The throw from the right fielder is spiked. And my goodness, you saw where Dunhurst set up for that pitch, a mile outside, and instead Mallett threw it right over the plate.
Yeah, this was the old waist fastball to set up the next breaking ball. Look how far off Dunhurst is, and Mallett basically throws it right down the middle. Robertson ready for that 2-strike fastball, and a bullet in the 4-hole leads to the Sooners' third run.
Did you see the reaction of Dunhurst?
Just what I said. The reaction of the catcher was unbelievable.
His shoulders slumped a bit. It was almost before the ball was hit, where he knew exactly what was going to happen.
Like, did I not get out there far enough?
So now 8-3, and Tanner Treadaway 0 for 2 with a walk. You can see why you would throw it 70% of the time, if not more, because to your point, you could tell him, here's what I'm throwing.
He's now going to throw it 100% of the time in this at bat. You get ahead 0-1 in the spot that he's in, that's all you're going to see.
Now, Oklahoma hadn't lost in the College World Series. They were a perfect 3-0 into this one. They had rest. First inning, they got rocked a little bit, down 2-zip, then 3 and 4. It was 4-2 after the 6th, and then 3 home runs in a row changed the entire tone of the game. It's a call of a 2-seamer backed up over the outside edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat, they'll flip to second. That'll be the 3rd out. To the 9th we go. Game 1, College World Series Finals. Ole Miss by 5. We're back. Take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance.
How about 3 of them? TJ McCants get the party started. 4-2 game at this point. Now 6-2, and this is a large fly. Calvin Harris to the biggest part of the ballpark. Beer flying all over the place. Justin Bench finishes the trifecta, back-to-back-to-back for Ole Miss. That changed the game, made it 8-2 at that point. They seem to be excited in the outfield.
Hottie Toddy has showed up here in Omaha, and when we did the Capital One rewarding performance, the back-to-back-to-back was certainly worthy of it. So was the starting pitcher. So was Mason Nichols in the job he did. And I get the sense that Mallett is going to be pretty comfortable when he goes out in the bottom of the 9th. All around, really well-played game for Ole Miss tonight as Carson Atwood, the sophomore, is set to throw his first pitches of the night. Ole Miss wins tonight. Assuming they hang on, they win tomorrow, they will be the College World Series champions. So it'll be Mississippi State last year and Ole Miss this year. But there's a lot that happens between now and the conclusion of Game 2. Including Kate Horton, who's been really good for Oklahoma. Lost in the back-to-back-to-back homers was the fact that this guy, Tim Elko, hit one in the 3rd inning.
Ole Miss just 4 home runs all week coming into this ball game, and now 4
tonight
in Game 1 of the finals. That'll do.
Yeah, you did. Yes,
you did. So is that pitch recognition for Elko on a slider?
Yeah, just seeing it early enough, trusting yourself that you've got time on the fastball long enough to recognize the spin of the breaking ball.
This one is into left. It drops. Tim Elko has 4 hits in his first College World Series Finals game. A little hanger. Then Elko is aboard again.
Got a little bit of everything tonight, right? And single up the middle against the shift, and the captain has had a lot to smile about tonight. Came back for this opportunity. He's had that C in his chest for 3 years, by the way. That's the impact that Elko has had on this program. The bat has had quite an impact tonight for this Ole Miss offense.
Well, we've used that phrase a lot this year. The legend of Tim Elko started last year when he played on the torn ACL. 4-hit days are hard to come by. I don't care when and where you're playing. You get 4 hits in Game 1 of the College World Series Final. You're owning that phrase, that name, legend of Tim Elko, very, very well.
When Tim Elko decided to come back for this season, he was disappointed after the MLB draft. He talked to his dad. He said, go rehab that ACL. God is going to do something special with you. And boy, has he. His parents also bought a place in Oxford so that they could see every home series his final season.
And what a special season it has been, even though there were some dark moments in the middle, right? And when Mike Bianco, and he had some help from one of their former greats, Chris Coughlin, when they sold these guys that the season wasn't over and the dream of making it to Omaha and even winning the national championship was still alive. That's great to sell to your group, but you got to have guys in the clubhouse that actually believe you, right? And go out there and play with that kind of spirit. And certainly Elko, Kevin Graham, Justin Bench, those guys, they believed and they've played like it.
Towards the seats, third base side. And it'll land just off the front row. Now, the other part of this, too, when you look at the 2 teams that are on the field and you think about an NCAA men's basketball tournament or women's basketball tournament, whatever the field of 64 would be, Oklahoma was picked to finish 6th in their league when this season started. They get in, they'd be akin to a 5 seed maybe. And Ole Miss would be like a 12 seed in the championship. You're not doing that in the men's basketball tournament. You're not going to get a 5-12 final.
I think it does point to the parity that there is in the sport right now. Ole Miss was #1 in the country at one point.
Right.
And it wasn't like we played 10 games. I mean, it was fairly early in the season. And then they had a rough patch. And part of it was because that guy wasn't throwing on the weekend.
Yeah.
And when that guy started throwing on the weekend and Dylan DeLucia, things started changing. And Hunter Elliott got better. And the offense really stayed consistent all the way through. Talent wasn't the issue. It was just figuring out which buttons to push. And they've been pushing the right ones for the last 3 weeks.
Bullpen door is open. Skip is out. Change being made. We'll take a timeout. Last 5 champions here in Omaha. We'll go back all the way to the Coastal Carolina team, 2016. Play that on an extra day due to weather. 2017, we've talked about Coar and Singer and Kevin O'Sullivan's group. Oregon State's made some runs deep in Omaha. 18 champions. Vanderbilt, after winning just a handful of years earlier, pick up another one. And last year, Mississippi State rocked the house. The road to Omaha is paved with all sorts of potholes, but as we heard earlier from the Sooners women's softball coach, if you get hot at the right time, both these teams have tonight. It's been all Ole Miss with back-to-back homers. As we play the 9th and another arm on and Abram for the Sooners. This is certainly a guy that can send one over a wall. Kemp Alderman, a couple of hits over 100 miles an hour on exit velocity from his bat. And there's another one. Left center field. Treadaway not going to get it. To the wall it goes. Held up at third after a double by Alderman, and that was scalded again. Man, is he squaring it up.
Ball compression, KB. 113 off the bat of Kemp Alderman. This is like a Brooks Koepka 3-iron, a fastball right down the middle. And Alderman, who is as strong as any player in this field in the college game, is putting on a ball striking display here in Omaha. He continues to compress it at as high a level as you can see in the college game.
And if he'd have got under there just a little bit more, that'd have been the longest home run we've ever seen here, because that was leaned on.
So second and third, infield in. Chatinier looks at a ball off the corner, 1-0.
113, we're getting into like the upper levels of Major League All-Stars.
Absolutely. You're in Pete Alonso country. He had 2 home runs today. You're not in the Stanton Judge area, but boy, you're sniffing it.
You're getting up there. Not bad for a sophomore,
right?
You know, I'd like to see what he looks like a couple more years in the weight room. He's certainly been in there a few times.
He was the guy, Skip Johnson, during our morning meeting, really identified. Like, he singled out Kemp Alderman. Chatinier's broken out tonight. 2 hits his last 2 at bats. Popped up, and now the infield, which was in, has to go back to try to get it. I don't think anybody's going to get it. Spikerman never saw it. Elko comes in, down to second, goes Chatinier, and no one ever saw it. The infielders had it. And Spikerman never read the infielders chasing it down. He kind of stood and froze, lost it in the lights. Another run's in.
Well, we've been showing you all those pretty sunset pictures, and this is the time of night where the clouds and the sky and the color, it can all confuse an outfielder. And you could see Spikerman never saw the ball, and I don't know that Nicholas saw it either.
I don't think Nicholas saw it either. I mean, both of them had that universal move of arms extended when you're running, meaning I don't know where it is. Not a comfortable feel, and a ball off the bat that looked like it'd be an out. But remember, infield was in there too.
Yep.
And so it was a lot further for Nicholas to go to try to make that play. If he's at normal depth, he's got a much better chance to catch it. Now the Sooners bring the infield in again.
Yeah, they have 3 on the right side for Dunhurst. So the infield is in. I'm not sure I've seen this look before. 3 infielders all in on the right side, and Wallace Clark, the lone guy on the right. You ever seen this alignment?
Not with the infield in. No.
Yeah, but if you're going to play the pull side shift,
play with the infield in.
You do. If you're going to bring the infield in, you do the exact same thing. And the numbers say he's going to hit you a lot more ground balls to the right side of the infield.
Just optically, it's not
it
something
does look
you've ever seen.
Yes.
And you know, they're not going to do it up 9-3, and I don't know that they would do it anyway with Dunhurst. But you talk about opening up the left side of the infield for some sort of a safety squeeze or a bunt. This puts Wallace Clark, the third baseman, in a really tough spot.
I would argue with one thing that you just said right there. I would not do it because of the score of 9-3 in the ninth inning.
Yeah.
Not in this place.
If
you think it's a better play, right?
Yeah. 9-3 here on a night like tonight doesn't have the feel of a normal 9-3.
No, and in any case, I mean, you get a chance to add now, you want to add.
Looking at the back of the Kents, who got the whole party started. Back-to-back-to-back homers. His 2-run shot set the place on fire. Fouled straight back. He stayed 2-2.
Twice this postseason. It happened in the Super Regionals against Southern Miss, and now here in Omaha. He has not started a game and come in and hit a home run. And for a young man that some projected as an All-American coming into this season, who's had, probably a disappointing season from a numbers standpoint, it's been a pretty special run here in the postseason to have 2 swings like he's had.
Towards the dugout, heading back towards the field. Oh my gosh, it dropped in between Crooks and Clark. That probably got to about the top of the Oklahoma dugout and then just started drifting back.
But Clark saw it. Clark just has to take control and catch this ball. This is not, he had to take a little different route to get there. But that is not the catcher's ball unless the catcher is the only one that can get there.
There is a ton of foul territory here at Charles Schwab Field in that area. Next pitch, this one to left field. Pettis didn't see it. Now he dives and makes the catch. And the run is in. Boy, that sky is causing all sorts of problems. Kendall Pettis really got a late read on it. Alderman is in. Pick up their 10th run.
Yeah, he definitely got a late read on it. You see there, just kind of hesitates, and then by the time he realizes that ball's dying, fortunately he has the athleticism to come in here and make this one. This was a really tough play. Full extension running head on is not an easy finish for an outfielder, but Pettis with the athletic ability to make that one happen after not a great jump.
Yeah, he was mad at himself afterwards too, because if he doesn't dive right there, he's got a real chance to throw Alderman out of home. Instead, no play there, and the Rebs add another.
Change up to start off TJ McCants. Got another one, 0-2. What Mike Bianco and his staff do when you limit the number of guys that you're using, or maybe using them a little differently, like that's a big part of keeping players engaged, because as he had told us earlier, there's some folks who are wondering, am I going to get in? When's my playing time coming? To have McCants come off the bench like that and deliver means he was ready to go. And that's a credit to the staff. He strikes out here. They're up 7. Crooks, Clark, Nicholas when we come back. Hotty toddy time here in Omaha for the Rebs. Welcome back, everyone, and a 10-run output from the offense of Ole Miss here at Charles Schwab Field. Second time they've scored 10+ in 5 games at this year's World Series. Let's see, how does Omaha look from, whoa, Shane Kimbrell, let's see. Hello, Omaha, Nebraska. Took it from the space station, ready to watch the College Baseball World Series Finals. Best of luck to both teams. We see you up there, Shane. I know you see us.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's a pretty powerful signal to get up there.
Yes,
wow.
Yeah.
Always knew you were worldwide, Carl. I didn't know you were intergalactical. Is that a word?
Sure.
Tonight it is. Bottom 9. And Ole Miss, 16 hits, most in a World Series Finals game since Georgia and Fresno State both did it in the same game back in 2008. A lot of 2008 references tonight before we move to this ballpark, which shows you how prolific the offense has been tonight for Ole Miss.
Well, I will say it's been a rough night for the Sooners to this point, but if you're a Sooner fan sitting at home not feeling great about the way this ball game unfolded, 5 of the last 6 champs have lost game 1 of the finals.
Hard hit, fielded cleanly. Gonzalez calmly throws over to first with a little air underneath it, and Crooks is retired for the first out in the 9th.
So 5 of the last 6 and 3 in a row.
Now you're a glass full guy. I love that. Silver lining.
A lot of series left.
Oh, yeah.
You know the rules. Not over after one game.
You know, the narrative around Steph Curry winning the Finals MVP this postseason was, what are they going to say now? As I watch this Ole Miss team, and again, they got a couple outs here and still one more game to win in this series, but the knock on them has always been, as great as their program has been, right, the postseason has not quite gone their way. And Mike Bianco brings home the hardware this year. I'm not really sure what are they going to say now to the Rebels, right?
They're going to say thank you. That's what they're going to say.
What are they going to say now?
Smart. Look around, Jack Doherty. Letter high fastball in there for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Make sure you take stock of where you're at, who's to your right, who's to your left, how many people are here, what it looks like. And Alex is not pleased with the mound, and now he's going to call somebody out to maybe see if we can adjust the landing spot.
We've seen this a few times this week. There's been some mound issues in the day games.
Yeah, we saw a lot of things at night, but we didn't see the mound issue. So we're searching for a grounds crew to come on out and help build maybe that mound up.
You forget about some of the mounds you threw on when you were growing up. I'd say that's a clay mound that's in pretty good shape, and there may be a little bit of a landing spot, but still, there were craters when you were in high school sometimes.
Have to go to the opposite side of the rubber just to not step in a hole.
Well, the hole in front of the rubber when you were pitching at that youth level, I mean, you couldn't see the bottom of your foot.
No. No, you were down in a cavern before you even went to. Let me get down there. Give me a tamp and a rake, and I'll solve this in 10 seconds. That was my job.
Oh,
you should fix the mound guy.
You are good at stuff. So this is one of those things.
Add it to the list, Chris.
Yeah, we have now sent the grounds crew scurrying for the proper tools to fix the mound, which is not exactly the way you want to go through the bottom of the 9th in a 9-10-3 ball game, but health and safety protocols been a big thing. And
I got less than 2 minutes right here on the tire change. Start the clock in less than 2 minutes on the tire change. Come on, boys, don't let me down. Not the best grounds crew in the country for nothing. Get the lid off. Get it off. Hustle. We got. I don't like my chances right now.
No, but I tell you one thing. We get.
Okay.
I thought he was wide.
Hope that's not Roundup.
There's one thing I don't see out there are weeds.
Now let's see. You're using the same thing. All right, let's go. Tamp.
More. We're gonna spray up top too now.
The urgency is fantastic here. We are definitely moving at a high rate.
So your point for people at home watching who aren't interested in how the mound gets repaired. Your point about winning game 1, but not necessarily then carrying it over in game 2. This all now falls on the shoulders of Cade Horton, doesn't it? Because I guess the soft underbelly you mentioned of Oklahoma, if you're Ole Miss, get into the bullpen. Not the closer, just get into the bullpen. And we saw at least what happened tonight. So the starting pitcher becomes so important for game 2 for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and if you look at the way Cade Horton has been trending down the stretch, you feel very confident if you're an Oklahoma fan, he's going to give you a quality outing. And with Trevin Michael not pitching tonight, like, I don't care if it's the 5th. They're going to go right to Trevin Michael, their closer, who's very durable and can give them length. So even though Oklahoma is taking their lumps here tonight, they still like their formula, I think, for tomorrow.
So I think all things being equal, if you're going to lose game 1, you would rather lose game 1 and not use any of your bullets. And I understand that means that in this case they're down 7 runs.
Yeah.
But still, it gives you the best chance to come back through this thing and win it. And the best chance that Oklahoma has is if you have a rested Trevin Michael in the bullpen. Because if they're going to win this thing, he's going to get you some big outs. I think we hit the under, by the way. It was like a minute 55.
Mark Amenta, who's up here. No, he had the under 2-minute hit. And I'm going to go with our official statistician.
Sorry, Kyle.
Sorry.
No, he under 2 hit.
I win.
He wins.
I thought we said 206.
No. Somebody else did.
Oh, no.
Oh.
That'd be a dub.
Interesting.
1-0, Kyle. Hold on a
There's
second.
an inquiry.
That's fair. Scott Johnson reminds us we had a 2:06, 2-hour and 6-minute game on Thursday. All right, here we go on a 3-1 pitch. Mound repaired. Mallets throws a strike. Just missed. 93 away for a walk. Tim Elko, 4 hits tonight. He has matched the same number of hits Oklahoma has as a team. They let him in the door, and now they're not leaving the party. I mean, Ole Miss was the last at-large team to get in, and assuming a victory tonight, they were going to be 1 win away from winning the whole thing. And that was some of the comments that the players made when they sat in that room on Selection Monday. They let us up off the mat.
Yeah, don't let the Revs get hot. That T-shirt, we saw one earlier this evening. I think that T-shirt is going to be, there it is. Well done. That one's going to be awfully popular, I believe, with the Rebel fan base.
Is there a unique grip? What is it that allows Mallets to throw what is really a unique moving pitch?
He really just gets his hands over the top of the baseball, but he throws it with max effort. You got to have enough torque that you can put on that middle finger to get over the top. And he really gets over the top. It gives it that 12-6 spin. That's why you get hands started on pitches like that.
And if you're OU, if you can keep making Mallets work here, right? I mean, like this, they got Brandon Johnson, who they really like at the back end of games too. But down the stretch, they've been going more towards Mallets. Every pitch you get him to throw here in the 9th is a small victory.
1 down, 2-2 pitch on the way to Nicholas. And he pulls that foul. Yeah, is there a pitch count where you wouldn't bring Mallets back tomorrow night if you had the lead?
Sure. Yeah, I think they're very comfortable bringing Johnson in too.
Yeah, they are.
They've got a few closer by committee. I mean, Brandon Johnson leads them with 11 saves this year. Mallets doesn't have as many. He's just been maybe the hotter hand down the stretch, but you're good with either one of them going in there.
There you go. Picks up a strikeout of Nicholas, and they're 1 out away from winning game 1. Count 14 total strikeouts of Oklahoma hitters. I don't know if you saw it, but the New York Yankees were no-hit today by the Astros. The Yankees struck out 15 times in that game. Johnson looking on, not going to be used this evening. And Orduño, last chance for Oklahoma. Fastball, strike one. UFC Fight Night next here. That got the up, and that's a fair ball over the bag. It deflected off the first base umpire. And it's second and third here with 2 outs. A shot off the bat of Sebastian Orduño.
Well, to Berkey's point early, I mean, you got a while to go. The run that counts is still sitting in the Oklahoma dugout, but the more that you can push his pitch count up, the better that it is over the course of the weekend. Orduño put it in the spot that nobody could make a play and looked like it went right over the top of first base. So a double there. Wallace Clark held at third. Derek Diamond was up and throwing earlier for Ole Miss. Now he has some company. Brandon Johnson up and throwing beside him.
And if you do happen to win game 2 and you don't see Mallets, but Johnson appears in the game, you now know that you're able to make some contact against the guy.
Yeah. No, again, whether they score here or not, it's been a win for Oklahoma here in the bottom of the ninth, because I think at 40 pitches, you know, at the most he's going to give them an inning tomorrow, I would think.
Ahead of Kendall Pettis, 0-1. Tough because you're up by 7. You're watching a kid who, as you said, uses max effort, where really you're okay with pitch to contact. And it looks like because of the way he throws, his pitch has got so much movement, trying to get swing and miss every time. And that may be who he is.
Yeah.
One ball, 2 strikes. Strong start from Jack Doherty. Great bullpen work from Mason Nichols. Back-to-back-to-back home runs in an Ole Miss 4-run 8th inning. And now Josh Mallets is a strike away from putting them in the driver's seat. There it is. The throw down to first. Ole Miss will win game 1 10-3 and take a 1-0 lead in the World Series Finals.
Pretty impressive stuff. The Rebels continue to stay red hot on the mound, and Tim Elko put on a show.
For Kyle Peterson, Chris Burke, Chris Button down on the field. Scott Johnson, Scott Gustafson, our director and crews here tonight. Our entire crew behind the scenes. We hope you've enjoyed game 1. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, game 2. UFC Fight Night is next. I'm Carl Ravitch. So long from Omaha.